It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
19 on the shot clock. Boswell drives right all the way to the bucket. Just lay it up and in. And Kylan Boswell now with a new career high, 20 points in the game. And the Cats are up 84-64. The end in a big hug. Tommy Lloyd and Dan Munson, long time friends. And Munson's career at Long Beach coming to an end today. I have a feeling we'll see him back on the sideline somewhere. Arizona 85, Long Beach State 65, your final.
Yeah, it was quite a day for basketball on Thursday for the University of Arizona. The men taking care of business against Long Beach State, a game that was a little dicey early. Interesting. One of the things after going back and watching the game, we talked about yesterday that the Wildcats only had 9 turnovers. And then I went back and I watched the game and I said, man, the passing is still really, really sloppy. I'm seeing a lot of just like bad passes and guys not being able to control the basketball and that kind of thing. And then there were a couple times that they probably should have had turnovers. They were able to get it back because they were able to tap it back or knock it back to one of their guys. And then Tommy Lloyd came out and said today that, yeah, the basketballs were really slippery yesterday. In fact, let's hear what Tommy Lloyd had to say about the basketballs.
Listen, I don't think it's very hard to find nets where the ball goes through. So go up to the University of Utah, take the nets off the basket because they're probably not stopping there and bring them down here. It's not complicated. So, I hope they have the wherewithal to make that change. I don't know if they stretch them and they can stretch them good enough and prove to themselves. That they're not going to stick. That's fine. The other problem is the ball. And we've been dealing with this forever. These are brand new basketballs, and I know they'll probably the shooting percentages don't change. There were more mishandles for both teams in our game yesterday because that basketball is brand new. It's just inflated a little different and just different than what the guys are comfortable with every day. And I think it begs the question in college basketball, how do we not have a standardized basketball? How can you play with an Adidas ball one game, a Nike ball the next game, the Rock in the next tournament, a Spalding in this tournament? If you're in the Hall of Fame Classic, you're playing with a Spalding. And then you're in the NCAA tournament, you're playing with a Wilson. Come on. I think we can standardize the game a little bit. I think it's common sense. So, but hey, I know there's also a business, and I'm just a coach, so I'm going to get back in my lane.
Yeah, so again, the balls seemed a little bit slippery, and that might explain some of what I was watching when I went back and reviewed the tape again, and guys just kind of losing control, and some of the passes just now granted, some of the passes were just bad passes. Let's not underscore that. The Wildcats are still probably a little bit too loosey-goosey with some of the passes. Kylan had a nice lob dunk to Oumar, and then he kind of fell in love with it and tried to do it 2 more times and threw the ball away. So there's still a lot of that going on with this basketball team. J.W. Madden joins us. J.W., you actually brought up the thing with the Nets on the postgame show last night about how the ball wasn't really coming through all the way, and that affects teams that want to get out and get going.
Yeah, I may not look like a DK, but I got, 8,000 hours on basketball courts in my life. And a big thing is the metal nets from our childhood did the same thing. The ball would not come cleanly through the net. Those are clearly brand new nets. And the biggest issue I have is Long Beach State and Arizona are both fast-breaking teams. And I was talking to you pre-show about a play that Caleb Love had against Cal where they had the inbound pass where he dunked and got the technical. Well, if you go back and watch that play, that was an inbound baseline inbound that went the length of the court in 2.5 seconds. That entire play from inbound to dunk lasted 2.5 seconds. Now, how long are those balls taking to get through that net? If you see a clean three-point shot with the backspin on it, the ball goes through cleanly. But if it's laid up and there's even a second or two delay between the ball falling to the person to inbound it, you're taking away the ability for somebody to get a quick inbound and a quick hitter. So even if that only happens 1 out of every 99, out of every 100 plays, DK, the technical side of that, buying an $8 cheap net that will not stretch like that versus a $12 net, whatever cost cutting they're trying to do. Not to mention, I mean, that's an NBA arena.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
that's the thing. Were they not using, I guess, did they not use the Jazz's nets?
Going by Coach Lloyd's talking there about the 4 or 5 different sponsored basketballs they have, one would have to assume that the net sponsor
nets
for the NCAA tournament is a universal thing. And so that there is a way for, all you have to do is get somebody with some grip strength to go up there with their 2 hands and spread the net apart. That would do the trick as well. I watched some games in the same building afterwards. Same thing, DK.
Yeah.
It was the exact same thing. It's a small issue, really. But at the end of the day, when you have 2 fast-breaking teams and you're not allowing the ball to go cleanly through the net, I have a problem. This whole ball handling thing, do you know how the NBA chooses balls? The home team picks 3 balls. The equipment managers pick 3 balls, okay? All the captains come and they feel it. The captain of the home team gets to pick it. They have a backup ball, and then there's a third ball, right? And this is how that process is done, because having a well-worn and well-feeled, the feel of the ball in your hands to a shooter or to a ball handler is everything. So if you've anybody who's gone to a sporting goods store and bought a ball and taken it out on the court and then handled it and dribbled it around a little bit, it just doesn't feel right.
That was when we were growing up. That's what you wanted the guy to get that ball to be a little bit worn. You didn't like it like right out of the case.
There's too much grip. It's like when the rubber's brand new, it grips too much to your hands, I think is the biggest issue for me. And that therefore you don't have that natural feel of it, how it releases off of your shooting hand or just the way you handle the ball. I was never a ball handler. I tried, but I could never pick that up quite to the level that I probably wanted to. But you can tell such a distinct difference in handling a brand new ball right out of the box. And sponsor or otherwise, I mean, give it to some kids the day before, DK, to go out there and play around with it a bit and get a little bit of wear on it. And because at
Can
the
it
end
be
of
like baseball where we can just like get some mud?
Yeah, that's illegal. Like, we don't want any sandpaper type stuff going on here. But just you got to get a little bit of wear on it, because here's the problem. These are the best players in the nation playing for the biggest prize that they've dreamt of their whole lives to play in the NCAA tournament. Most players, especially American-born players, dream of these moments. Now, I get sponsors, and I understand, but that doesn't mean using the sponsored ball does not mean using a brand new ball out of the box. It's just completely ludicrous to me having brand new nets and brand new balls when you're trying to get the best product on the court, trying to play the best game. We could also talk about scheduling the women's press conference this morning at the exact same time as the men's press conference for Arizona basketball. I don't understand who dropped that ball. And as far as the one call yesterday that was kind of crazy was the block at the end of the Kansas game.
Yeah.
There was a clean look by one of the refs on the left side of the court. The right side of the court guy is the one who made that call. There is no mechanism in place for them to be able to review that call because there was no whistle. Because they can't review that whether or not it was a clean block or not. So those are the main issues I have with the way the tournament's been run so far. But the nets, it's a small issue because it's really only a second or two, DK. But Caleb Love's, that's why I wanted to point out that play. Caleb Love's dunk was one of the most exciting dunks in the entire season of all the games played between every team. And that happened from a baseline out of bounds on the other side of the court in 2.5 seconds. So you're taking away those moments by having those, brand new, unstretchy nets, and it's not a good look.
Did you see what Arizona basketball put on their Twitter page?
Tell me.
What's the big guy from Gonzaga? Is it Karnowski or Karnowski?
Right.
Shimmy?
Yeah.
Is that Shimmy
Karnowski?
Yeah. So today, before practice, they put video of him. He's stretching out the nets.
Good. Somebody's got to do it.
That is awesome. And the line they wrote on this is no nets are safe around Karnowski.
It's just I have some more colorful things I'd like to say about it, but it's just so dumb to me.
Yeah. Well.
It's so avoidable is the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
How many millions of dollars, $1 billion goes into running the NCAA tournament, and you have cheap nets that don't let the ball go through it all the way, and brand new balls that are tough for world-class ball handlers to handle, it's not a good look.
520-848-1290. What did you think of all of that? Basketball, you play the game. Was that surprising to you that there was that issue with the nets? And then there was the issue, apparently, I don't know if this happened in the Arizona game. I would imagine it didn't. But later on, when Gonzaga was playing, they kept showing highlights of the game between Kentucky and Oakland inside the arena in Salt Lake City, and Mark Few got all bent out of shape about that. It's like, why are we, because the crowd is reacting to another game, not the game that they're actually watching. They're reacting to a game that's being played in another part of the country, and it was weird.
The dumbest part of that, DK, is 15 years ago that would have been awesome, and the fans would have been like, "Oh wow, we can watch 2 games at once." It's 2024. Every one of those fans in that building has a phone that they can watch those same games on in real time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why do you need to be showing a different game in live action? So yeah, I have no qualms about Coach Few being upset about that. I think, especially in game action, I didn't see that situation that you're talking about, but you shouldn't be showing now, I mean, I would imagine they probably cut to it because it was a close game at the end and it was a big upset. You said it was a Kentucky game that they switched to. It could have been
game, right,
down the stretch. That was a big upset, obviously. But yeah, I mean, that's not a good look either.
Speaking of Kentucky, how's your bracket?
My bracket's fine. I think 81%, something like that.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up.
Now, you actually did a special bracket.
I did.
With your lady.
I spent about an hour writing down all the mascots for every team that was involved in the NCAA tournament. Then I printed out a blank bracket that had no teams typed in, and I hand wrote
just the mascots.
Hand wrote the mascot for each team, and then I gave it to Paige to fill out. Now she knows who the Beach are, so she knew who the Wildcats were, and she wanted to pick the Wildcats to win the title. So there were some other ones that were fairly obvious, like there's only one Zags and so forth and so on. But the funny thing to me was she thought Dukes was a really, really cool name. So she put Duquesne going to the Elite Eight. Come to find out they hadn't won an NCAA tournament since 1969. They did pull off that upset yesterday. So I think Paige is probably one of the only people in the country who had the Duquesne Dukes going past the first round, let alone to the Elite Eight. Unfortunately, that same logic applied to the Red Raiders, which she thought was a really, really cool nickname. They lost in the first round. Also, the Gamecocks lost in the first round, and the Red Raiders and Gamecocks she had going to the Elite Eight as well. So it's fun when you pick a mascot that you like that's got a catchy nickname that you want to see go far. When it's the Dukes, not so much when it's the Red Raiders.
All right, so I won 13. I went 13-3 on the first day. Of course, I lost the Kentucky game like everyone did. I also believe that I had BYU, and they lost to Duquesne. So I lost that game off the top of my head. I'm not sure the other game that I lost. But that is our question of the game, the day, I should say. The question of the day, how many wins did you have on day one of the NCAA tournament? There were 16 games. How many games did you win? Did you have 16 wins? Did you have a perfect first day? Did you have 15? Did you have 14? Did you have 13 like me? 13 or lower is the final vote opportunity. So I fall into the 13 and lower category. So head on over right now to Twitter at Wildcats1290. That is our handle. You can vote in our poll. How many wins did you have on day one of the NCAA tournament? Now, I mentioned that when I used to do my NCAA pool back in the day, way back in the day, I actually started doing my pool in, I think, 1995 was the first time I ran a pool. And you know why? I think one of the reasons I decided to do a pool was because I was working in minor league baseball at the time, and we had, like, at the office, I think we had like maybe 10 people that were with the club, and it seemed like everybody that was in the office had a team that was in the tournament.
Right.
So I said, and man, I'd gone to USC, and we like hardly ever make the tournament. So at that particular time, so it was like we were in it. So I said, we got to do a pool, and because everybody has a team in the office and in the tournament. And so that's when I kind of started devising. I said, well, wouldn't it be cool if the person whose school went the farthest got some bonus points?
Right.
Like for that. And that's when I kind of started devising all these extra bonus points for upsets. I said, well, if you're going to pick an upset, because it's all about the upsets in the first 2 rounds. So if you pick an upset, you should get more than just the standard whatever points that you get in any normal pool. Like if you win, you get. I think I just filled out like the ESPN one because I don't really do an actual one with people or anything like that anymore. So if you win, you get 10 points. Well, if I pick an 11 seed or 12 seed or 13 seed upset, my whole thing was I should get more than 10 points. And so that's kind of when I started devising, well, okay, so if you pick an upset, you're going to get bonus. You get an extra 5 points if you go out on that limb and pick those upsets. And that's kind of how it all started. And I did that pool for I think almost 10 years. But the only reason I stopped doing it was because I just didn't have it. I had to hand grade it all because of all the extra points. There was and as technology became advanced, I still could not find like an online system that would calculate all my stuff. And so I was like, I don't have time to continue to do grade 40 pools every single night.
Yeah, that sounds like an extra job.
It was. It would take me hours.
Job.
I would be up till 2, 3 in the morning grading pools.
I think the logic of all games being equal is that, let's say hypothetically you have Kentucky going to the Final Four in your bracket.
Yeah.
And they lose in the first round. So you don't get the 50, let's say they're 10 points each. You don't get the 50 points that you would have gotten had Kentucky made it to the Final Four.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, VCU, George Mason, Butler, Davidson, when Steph was there, those teams make a deep run and you're the only person in the country, right? I mean, you're part of the 0.5% of people in the country that picked, George Mason to go to the Final Four or whatever that was. And so therefore, it's not just that those are outweighted and should be weighed more. The 50 points you got altogether, nobody else got any of those points, if that makes sense. Though that's why if you pick a long shot, like a 13, 14 seed, 12, 13, 14 seed to make it to the Final Four, you're picking up points that nobody else is. And especially when the big guns like Kentucky and the teams that you think, the Blue Bloods, lose early, that busts a bunch of brackets.
Yeah, in my pool, if you picked a 16 to beat a 1, that was an automatic extra 64 points. But nobody would ever pick those games back in the day when I was doing my pool. I don't think anybody ever.
Yeah, after the last couple of years.
Yeah. Now you might be able to, pick and win one of those and get some nice early bonus
Side
points.
note, I read a fun stat yesterday. Virginia Cavs, they were the first team ever to lose as a 16 to a 1. I'm sorry, as a 1 to a 16. That was 6 years ago. The very next year, they won the national championship. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows this story. What people might not know is since they won that title, this last 5 years, they don't have a single win in the NCAA tournament. Wow. Virginia Cavaliers have not won a single NCAA tournament game since they got beat by a 16, came back, won the national championship. Ever since then, 0 wins.
Yeah, well, that's why Tony Bennett is on the hot seat for sure. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives. Cricket's got the day off. It is Hollywood.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Earlier collision now clearing Tanque Verde and Bear Canyon. That's Bear Canyon and Tanque Verde. That collision now clearing. Heads up for a new crash over on La Cholla Boulevard and Foothills Mall Drive. That's Foothills Mall Drive and La Cholla Boulevard for a crash. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather. Tonight, 56 for the overnight low, mostly cloudy. 80 tomorrow and cloudy. Right now it's 77, and I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. No matter what the day brings, count on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Give kids the nutrients of real 100% fruit juice to help them conquer the day with no sugar added and no artificial sweeteners. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Boswell stopped, shoot a 3. Straight away, it's good. Kylan Boswell drains it. And that is the half. Cats up by 17.
PK on the Sports Tip. 3 to 6 weekdays. Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-539-5094. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-539-5094 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-539-5094. 800-539-5094. 800-539-5094.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yup, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
As here dribble and give on the left, Bay finds Williams, right back to Bay, then back it out outside where Martinez is going to try a three-pointer that's up and good. Charity 3 snaps an 0-for-4 start from downtown for the Wildcats, who are now matching their largest advantage.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, why don't you text app to 520-848-1290. I will send you a link. You can download our app. Our app slaps. We've got full game stories with highlights and reaction from both games yesterday. Arizona men, an 85-65 win over Long Beach State. We've also got highlights and reaction from the Arizona women's win over the Auburn Tigers. You heard the golden tones of Derek Palmer right there. As Mary Martinez hit a couple of three-pointers in that game. The Wildcats are not generally known as a team that hits a lot of three-pointers, and they didn't really hit a lot of three-pointers in this game. but they made 5 of 12, which is a pretty good day for them. And, 42%, and they were big three-pointers. You got 2 from Esmeri. Helena had a pair, 16 points for Helena Puello. I turned to my wife and I said, I've been, you all know, my whole thing has been I wanted Helena to score more in this, her senior season. And I'm watching the game at home, and I turned to my mom. I turned to my wife. I turned to my wife, and I started to say something. Man, I wish. See, that's what I want. That's what I've been asking for from Helena Puello. 10 shots. She had 6 of 10, 2 threes, 16 points. If she does that every night, this is a team. Folks, this is a team that could get. Are they going to get to the Sweet 16? I don't know, because you got to beat UConn on their home floor, and there's like 20. How many banners up? How many flags are up on the ceiling there for UConn? You said the other day.
Title's 11.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah,
there's
11.
like 11 banners up there at Gamble Pavilion. So that's very daunting. But this is a team that has the capability, if they play the way they played last night. They had 17 takeaways in the first half of this game.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before.
It was crazy physical. I didn't get to watch the first half. I definitely tuned in about halfway through the third quarter. And I'll tell you one thing, DK. You wanting Helena Puello to shoot more is all well and good. But the way she took those shots down the stretch, that sequence where she got stripped really clean by a girl named Honesty, Scott Grayson, took it right at Helena, finished around her, and then chest bumped her before she could inbound the ball. Next time down the court, Helena drove strong to her right side, about to the elbow, and had one of the sweetest behind-the-back crosses that sent Honesty flying, drilled that 12-footer right in her face, and then pointed at her, and then took the next shot down. Like, that was Helena Puello taking over late stages in a game and looking really smooth doing it. Obviously, we've talked endlessly about the number of bodies that they have on that team. If they get into foul trouble, look, I remember at one point there was I can't remember exactly who it was that fouled out, but Paige and I looked at each other and I looked up the stats, and at that point there were, I think, 2 players on the Wildcats roster that already had 4.
Brea fouled out.
Yeah, Brea fouled out, and then I looked at the stats, and 2 other players had
4
at
fouls.
the time, and I was like, Paige, I really hope they don't have to finish this game with 4 players. That, I think, to me, the only issue I see with this team is potentially depth and having foul issues and not being able to, because I think right now, the way they're playing, they can beat anybody in the country.
Yeah, no question about that. In fact, let's hear some of what Helena Puello did.
Come to the right of the lane, handed off Jones, attacking to the left side where she loses it going up, gets it back somehow. She's surrounded by Auburn players, loses it a third time. Kick it out now to a wide open Puello, whose 3 is up and down. Alexis of Tucson, charity 3, and the Cats have their first 14-point leads.
16 points for Helena Puello, again, on 6 of 10. She had 4 assists. Of course, again, she's always guarding the best defensive player. The best offensive player, and she had 3 steals last night.
Yeah, and Derek mentioned a 14-point lead there. By the time I was watching,
it was down.
Yeah, about 2/3 of the way through the third quarter, and I watched to the end of it. That lead got cut down to 6 pretty quick, and they really had about a 2-possession game, more or less. And so it was really a lot of fortitude there down the stretch. Obviously, the Cats end up winning by 10. But that's only because they held Auburn scoreless for the last 2 minutes of the game. They were stuck on 59 for the last 2 minutes of that game. So Arizona really created separation there at the end. But just an amazing, when you have a team coming back at you. We're going to talk a lot about Arizona's opponent tomorrow, DK.
Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be the Syracuse Orange women.
Yeah, I meant the men's opponent and what they have to face, and that team coming back down the stretch of those last 6 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
But when you're looking down, at a team who's desperate, there is no tomorrow if they don't win. You got out to a 14-point lead, and all of a sudden that gets cut down to 5. That's a real gut check moment, and clearly the Diaz crew responded to get that 10-point win.
Jada Williams was big for the Arizona women's basketball team.
Cunningham offers a screen, sends it to the right side, goes all the way to the block, high off the glass as it rattles in, as she is bumped and fouled.
Jada and Ann won there. She went just 4 for 13 from the field, but was 8 of 11 from the line to finish with 17 points.
Fearless.
And, yeah, again, that's what Jada does. She doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but she hit a big one.
Puello starts moving from the left to the right. Picks up the dribble, wants to go inside at Cunningham. Instead, it's going to go straight away where Williams going to try a three that's up and down. Did Arizona ever need that? Alexis of Tucson, charity three, gets Jada into double figures. 2 minutes to play, and the lead's back out to 12.
Yeah, she took 6 threes, only made 1. But, again, that was a huge one to make. And like Jada mentioned, it was like they were hanging on by a thread. As I like to say, down the stretches, the lead kind of dwindled and dwindled, but Skylar Jones made sure it was all going to be all right.
5-point game, 2 minutes and 15 seconds left as she goes inside, back to a cutting Jones, who's able to catch finish as she's fouled. 69-59, Arizona will get to do battle with Syracuse on Saturday.
Did you ever figure it out? Orange Ladies, is it?
I did not.
Okay, I'll look it up.
I did not figure out. Yeah, we'll have to look that up. But, yeah, the orange, as we'll go with that. We can't be wrong with the orange. That's who they'll play. That game will be at 12:30 on Saturday. You'll hear it on Freedom 1400. KTUC, Derek Palmer on the call. Coverage will begin at 12:15. In fact, Derek today caught up with Isis Bay and Courtney Blakely. And let's hear a little bit about what those ladies had to say about the win over yesterday's team, the Auburn Tigers, and getting set to take on the Syracuse Orange.
We're here with Isis Bay and Courtney Blakely. Isis, how did yesterday's game compare to any NCAA tournament experience that you had previously?
Last year we got out in the round of 64, so I've never gotten a March Madness win, so I'm excited to go back to the round of 64.
How did yesterday's play compare to your game last year against the Cats?
I mean, we won. I mean, I feel like this team is just, we don't give up. Like, if the game starts, like, not going our way, like, it makes us go harder instead of, like, getting down on ourselves.
How physical was yesterday's game, Courtney?
It's similar. It was like, I don't know, we just came out and it was like, boom. I don't really have another word for it. It was just, I don't know, like very physical. I don't know.
Coach Barnes thought it was a very physical game. Do you agree with that? Or how physical do you think it was compared to anything else that you dealt with this year?
In similar terms as of last year when we played, it was very physical. And that's just how the postseason is. So, yeah.
What are you expecting coming into tomorrow?
Same kind of play.
What are you expecting?
I don't think they're as physical of a team, Syracuse, but I think they have a lot of skilled players, so we have to be more dialed in on defense.
All right, thank you both.
All right, that is Derek Palmer with Isis Bay and Courtney Blakely. That was today. Again, we're back to, it was press conference Friday in both Stores and Salt Lake City. Courtney Blakely last night played 15 minutes, scored a pair of points from the line, missed the 4 shots she took from the floor. Isis Bay also 2 points off the bench. We will hear a little bit later from the 2 scoring leaders, Jada Williams and Helena Puello, as Derek had a chance to catch up with them as well. All right, we have solved the mystery of the orange.
What year did the whole tribe thing change?
In Cleveland?
Yeah.
Like, this will be the 3rd season. So,
but they started bantering and talking about it
yeah, I
about
mean,
20 years ago,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so same deal. In 2004, the official nickname was changed to the Orange for all athletic teams. Prior to that, it was the Orange Men and Orange Women was the official titles for the different athletic programs. But ever since then, it's just the Orange, although Orange Women and Orange Men is still thrown around by some of the fans because they don't want to, just the same reason why you call them the Tribe.
Yeah,
they don't want to let that go.
Exactly. Well, and I did not read this yesterday, but because we were talking a couple days ago about how Long Beach State, they are no longer the 49ers. There's this line on the front page of their notes that says, Long Beach State has officially changed the nickname for all sports other than baseball to Beach with the NCAA. Please do not refer to Long Beach State basketball as the 49ers at any time, it says.
Did you hear Brian?
Yeah, I think he made the mistake like near the end of the game or
Right,
something.
so Brian did the whole broadcast yesterday, and then right as I think there was in like their third or fourth segment of post game, and he calls him the 49er, and he like caught it instantly. He's like, I made it this whole way, and I was. But yeah, I think the Dirtbags, right? That's the baseball team.
Dirtbags. Yeah. That's hilarious because I mean, having a Southern California background. When I was in minor league baseball, I would always refer to anybody from Long Beach State. Oh, he played for the Dirtbags.
Yeah.
And one of my partners would get mad at me. He's like, "Well, why are you calling him a dirtbag? That's not right. You shouldn't." I was like, "Bro, that's what they call themselves."
Yeah. Proudly.
Exactly. He just did not understand that was their nickname. I think it was I'm unofficial. But that's what they referred to themselves at. That's what they put on all of their press releases and everything, the Dirtbags.
Now, Long Beach State's baseball program is a top 10 all-time program.
Yeah. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know how good they've been recently, but yeah, I mean, in the 90s and early 2000s, they were as good as you could find on the West Coast, for sure. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes. We'll have much more coming up. We are going to chat with Larry Hensgen. He is the voice of the Dayton Flyers. We'll find out about the next opponent for Arizona men's basketball. But first, Hollywood. How things on the road?
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. We have a collision at Sunrise and Swan. At Swan and Sunrise for a crash there. La Jolla Boulevard and Foothills Mall for another crash. First Avenue in Fort Lowell and Oracle and Suffolk for a wreck. At Suffolk and Oracle for a crash there. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather tonight. 56 for the overnight low and mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Right now, it is 78. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. Juicy Juice is 100% juice, which means no sugar added, no high fructose corn syrup, and no artificial sweeteners. Kids love the full fruit flavors, and you'll love knowing you can count on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
The music is loud, the food is good, the fun is everywhere. That's why they call it a party. And that's what we're having on March 23rd to celebrate our 100 years in business. Save the date.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill.
2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at CoolWillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Brian Peabody.
My biggest thing is get back. If you don't get back in transition D, you'll never play.
I got one of your former players at Greenfields here.
Player is very generous. I was not a player. I was just a guy who sat around on the bench. I was on your second team back in '92, way back when.
We didn't have a second team. We only had 6 players. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I wasn't even good enough to be on that rotation. So there you go.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Celebrate the grand opening of Champ's Kitchen and Bar with exclusive $5 specials now through April 8th. Score $5 pizzas, $5 burgers, and $5 pitchers. Catch all the action at Champ's Kitchen and Bar at 7625 North La Jolla Boulevard before it's too late.
Cashback
is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CAR.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number. If you'd like to talk to us, we'll talk to you. Give us a call. But right now, we're going to talk to the voice of the Dayton Flyers, Larry Hansgen, who is in Salt Lake City for tomorrow morning. It's just tomorrow night. Yeah, I wish it was tomorrow night. Second round game between the Wildcats and the Flyers. Now, Larry, we're an hour behind you, so you can imagine how my mouth dropped when I saw the start time of this game on Saturday. What were your first thoughts when you saw 10:45?
Well, it's not appropriate for broadcast radio what my thoughts were, because it makes no sense. I mean, there's plenty of Eastern time zone venues that could play that noonish tip to start the day off. It seems silly to have, teams out here and in the mountain or daylight or mountain standard time zone, either one, to be playing that early. But hey, that's the NCAA tournament. They tell you who to play, and then they tell you when.
Who to play and when to play. Hey, Larry, we were talking in the first segment. I don't know if you heard any of Tommy Lloyd's press conference, and we actually brought this up on our post-game show yesterday about how the ball wasn't really coming through the basket very well yesterday. Did you guys have issues? Did you feel like your team had issues with that at all in that game against Nevada?
I don't think it was an issue. I mean, we noticed it, and they tried to change the nets or fix them at halftime, but I don't think it was impactful. But yesterday, the game between Dayton and Nevada, you're talking about two teams that are fairly low-paced teams, so maybe that's why it was inconsequential.
So tell us a little bit about your squad. Obviously, you've got a young man who shoots the three tremendously well. Hasn't started a lot of games, but started the game on Thursday against Nevada, and that's Kobe Brea. What kind of went into Anthony Grant's thinking to kind of maybe give him that starting nod here in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I'm just going to guess that Javon Bennett, who had been first of all, I mean, Dayton's starting point guard went down 7 minutes into the season, with a season-ending knee injury. So the guy who then started every game after that, Javon Bennett, hurt his hand in the first half of the game on March 1st against Loyola. So he missed the second half of that game, which Dayton lost. Then he missed the last two regular season games, which Dayton won and played well. He came back, played in the A-10 quarterfinals in a game that Dayton lost to Duquesne. So I don't know. Maybe Coach just went back to the lineup that had played so well in the final two regular season games. That's just a guess, though, on my part.
We are joined by Larry Hansgen. He is the voice of the Dayton Flyers, and it is the game that the Wildcats will play on Saturday at 9:45 against Dayton, Arizona, and Dayton. You know, Darren Holmes is a kid out of Arizona, Goodyear, Gilbert Mesquite High School. Understand the highest recruit ever at the Dayton. What did Anthony like about this kid when he saw him in high school, and how did he get him all the way out to Ohio?
Well, actually, Duran might have recruited Dayton as much as Dayton recruited him. He made the initial contact. And this was back during COVID when everything was being done over Zoom. But he had seen how Obi Toppin had been developed, the success he had at Dayton. He kind of looked at a similar type of skill set, reached out to the coaches. Coaches then, they were aware of him and were obviously anxious to begin that conversation. And it all took place long distance over Zoom. He committed to Dayton without ever having set foot on the campus or meeting any of the coaches face to face for that matter.
Now, that's something really impressive there. He's the co-player of the year in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Who is the other guy?
Yeah, that's what when they said when I found out they go Deuce was co-player of the year, I could not think of who he shared it with.
Oh, wow.
Literally, I'm not being, I'm not just saying that to try to be a smart aleck, but it was Jordan King for Richmond, who had a nice year. But Deuce led the league in scoring and was the defensive player of the year. So how is that not the overall unanimous, unshared, undisputed player of the year?
Great question for sure. So he goes by Deuce Holmes?
Yeah, well, Duran Holmes the second.
Yeah.
And so he's Deuce.
There you go. What do you when you watch him play, what kind of stands out about his game?
The fact that he's plays so poised and patient. I very seldom have ever seen him force anything. It's a cliche phrase to say lets the game come to him, but he really does. And there are times he'll just take over a game if the situation warrants. But it's if the situation warrants.
I want to circle back to Kobe Brea, obviously one of the better three-point shooting players in the country. Is that something he's always done well for this program, or has he really kind of stepped that up for this particular season?
Well, he's been extremely good in the past. He was the sixth man of the year in the league this year. He was also that in 2022. Last year he had a rough year because he had stress fractures in both tibias. So trying to play through that pain, he had surgery in the spring and had steel rods put in both tibias. He spent a month in a wheelchair this summer.
Wow.
And the rehab was about 5 months. And so now he's got his legs underneath him, and his shot is pretty.
What has he said about having to come back from that?
Well, he's just so grateful. He's blessed. I mean, that's all he can do is just to say how blessed and grateful he is for the chance to be able to play again.
We're joined by the voice of the Dayton Flyers, Larry Hansgen. Larry, I pulled up a graphic that says that you have been at WHIO Radio in Dayton for 40-plus years. Is that correct?
Yeah, it'll be 43 years end of the month.
How
41st season of Dayton basketball.
So how old were you when you started? Because you don't look that old.
5. Yeah, right out of kindergarten. I was shocked they gave me the job, but you know what? Milk and cookies, I got to call the games. It was a good deal.
41 years as the voice. I would imagine that is that...
Here's something for you guys, okay?
Yeah.
40 years ago, Dayton played in the NCAA tournament in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Opening round, beat LSU. Second round, beat the second seed, Oklahoma. Went on to the Elite Eight, lost in the Western Regional Finals to eventual national champion Georgetown. There are 2 people that were part of that. They're still part of this Dayton program. Me, I called the games.
Right.
And head coach Anthony Grant was a freshman on that Dayton team.
Wow. So you have seen it all in your 40 years. Kind of walk us through what it's been like to be a part of this program for that long a period of time.
Well, I mean, I'll echo what Kobe Bryant said. I mean, it's been a blessing. I'm grateful. It's changed the whole trajectory of my life. I mean, I can't imagine what my life would be like had I not had this opportunity.
Yeah, I think I was in high school when you started broadcasting there at the University of Dayton. It has become kind of the center of the basketball postseason with the games, the first 4 games being played there. How big a deal has that been for the city of Dayton to have that moniker where essentially the tournament starts every year?
Well, it's such a big deal because of obviously the economic impact, but and then you can't put a price on what the value of how many times people are saying Dayton on broadcast TV and in social media and online and broadcast radio over the time span of that week. I mean, you can't put a price tag on something like that. And beyond that, I mean, the reason why it's there is because, I mean, back before it was the first 4, when it was just one game between 2 16-seed teams, we had 9,000 people show up. Didn't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
But they wanted to see a college basketball game, and they get into it.
That's something. I've not ever been to a first 4 ball game, but I tell you what, I have. I went to Dayton one time, and I got a chance to catch a minor league baseball game there, and I still say that that's one of my favorite ballparks that I've ever been to. As an ex-minor league broadcaster myself, man, I really enjoyed that ballpark that you guys have down in Dayton.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we're very fortunate. We got, you know what? The weather's not great. But other than that, it's a great place to live.
So obviously we had a connection to one of your coaches, Archie Miller, who was the brother of Sean Miller. They coached at Arizona for a number of years. How would you categorize the Archie Miller years?
Well, I think you know what, it's been part of a process. And I saw, when I started broadcasting, Hall of Fame coach Don Donaher was here. And the guy before him, Tom Blackburn, between the two of them, they just kind of put Dayton on the map. It took a step backwards for a couple of years. A guy named Jim O'Brien came in. He coached a lot in the NBA since then, but we were bad. There's a year won 4 games, next year won 6 games. He got fired. Oliver Purnell came in and just took the team out of those depths and brought it back to relevance. And then he, his last year, Dayton was a 4 seed in the tournament in 2003. He left, took the Clemson job, and then Brian Gregory came in. He advanced the program by expanding the recruiting base. Archie Miller came in to replace Brian Gregory after he went to Georgia Tech. What Archie did is he took it up a level when it came to player development. And then when he left for Indiana, Anthony Grant comes back to his alma mater, and he's elevated it into a program that is not only invested in player development, not only has a broad recruiting base, but it is a program that is invested in people development. He cares as much about these guys as people as he does about basketball players, and that's the thing about this team. And I've been around a lot. Dayton through the years doesn't have a lot of knuckleheads. Good academic school, high standards, not a lot of knuckleheads. But I'm telling you, this group right now, highest character group I've ever been around.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Real quick, before we let you go, Larry, in terms of 41 years, do you know where you are in the lexicon of voices in college basketball? I mean, I know our guy, Brian Jeffries, I think is in year 37. So we got 2 legendary long-term broadcasters calling this game on local radio tomorrow. But do you have any idea, like, who's above you?
Well, we got a guy in our league, Ray Goss, does the Duquesne Dukes. This is his 56th year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he's going to be. He's still working the tournament. So, I know he and Bill Hillgrove that does the
Pitt
Panthers.
Yeah.
They're about neck and neck. And there's some other guys there, but I don't know. You know what? It's not a competition.
There you go.
You know what? You know what it is? It is like the NCAA tournament. It is survive and advance.
I like the way you put that, Larry. Hey, Larry, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Have a great call on Saturday.
All right, looking forward to it. Should be a heck of a game.
Larry Hansden, the voice of the Dayton Flyers, 41 years. That's awesome because for those of us that got into this to do play-by-play, and I'm one of those people, you always hoped that you would fall into a situation like that where you could be somewhere. I mean, my whole thing was if I could have gotten into a play-by-play situation and stayed there for 20 years, I'd have been happy. But to be there for 40 years is unbelievable.
Speaking of play-by-play, I know we're not allowed to do it live on the air, but the Buffaloes just had an 11-point lead versus the Florida Gators, and they have chalked it all up in the last couple of minutes, and now it's tied at 100 with about 6 seconds.
Colorado.
Colorado Buffaloes and Florida Gators, 6 seconds to go, tied at 100. Yale.
At 100?
Yale has a 1-point lead on Auburn with 30 seconds to go
boy.
well. So keeping an eye on two really close games coming down to under a minute to go in both those games.
All right, we'll have much more for you in the 4 o'clock hour. Ryan Hansen is going to join us after 5. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Still working the collision at Swan and Sunrise. That's Sunrise and Swan. That crashed now in the clearing stages. Also a wreck, First Avenue and Fort Lowell. Fort Lowell and First Avenue for a crash. And Oracle and Suffolk. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather for tonight, 56 for the overnight low, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Currently, it is 78. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. Juicy Juice is 100% juice, which means no sugar added, no high fructose corn syrup, and no artificial sweeteners. Kids love the full fruit flavors, and you'll love knowing you can count on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Guys, let's get real about your hair loss. How long have you been wearing a hat? Hiding thinning hair or a rapidly growing bald spot? Just stop it. You're not a 12-year-old little leaguer, you're a grown man. It's time to take action. Let the hat go and get your real hair back permanently with Bosley. You heard that right. Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. And right now, Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone that texts TRIM to 200-300. Plus, text right now and get a link to this month's incredible deals. Join the millions of people who come to Bosley and see just how awesome your hair could look. Text TRIM to 200-300 for your absolutely free information kit and a free $250 gift card off, plus a special link to incredible deals. Text TRIM to 200-300 now. Text TRIM to 200-300.
Remember, the one and only play-by-play home for Arizona Athletics is 1290. So if you're listening to Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball, you have it locked on 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike a real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Here's Traore down to the baseline. Throw it in the lane. Ball knocked away. Loose and a steal. Here's Boswell. A 3-0. And Kylan will up and dunk it.
Is that his first dunk of his Wildcat career? It might be. Timeout, Long Beach State.
18 points for Kylan Boswell today.
It was indeed the first dunk of his career, for sure. Kylan Boswell got back to his scoring ways on Thursday in Arizona's win over Long Beach State. It has gone final in Indianapolis. How about Colorado, the 10 seed, knocking off Florida 102 to 123 points for KJ Simpson. All 4 Pac-12 teams win their first round
Did you see
game.
the final shot on that?
I did.
So
yes.
he goes baseline. I might have gotten away with a little bit of a push off, but KJ Simpson used literally every single piece of that rim to get that game-winning shot on the baseline with about 2 seconds to go. Hit high off the front, touched the back of the rim, the left side of the rim, right side of the rim before finally falling through. So yeah, big win for the Colorado Buffaloes. Good to see them healthy, see Oregon healthy. See what those teams are. See, finally, after watching them all year long struggle through injuries, to be finally healthy this time of year. It's great for the last year of the conference to see all those teams moving on so far.
Yep. Washington State gets a win. Arizona wins. Colorado, I mean, just great to see Oregon, thanks to 40 points by Jermaine Cousinar last night.
Just this very second, DK,
yes.
The Yale Bulldogs defeat Auburn 78-76. Just went final. Yale holds on. That's a 13/4.
Wow.
So
2 years in a row, the champion of the Ivy League comes into the NCAA tournament and gets a win.
So apparently this is Yale's second ever NCAA tournament win in their history of their school.
That's awesome.
And I believe Yale's been around since the 1700s. I don't think they were playing basketball back then because it wasn't
Tad Boyle's
invented then.
dancing. I mean, he's dancing. They got Tad Boyle moving in
I
the
bet
locker
you he
room right
told
now.
his players that he would dance if they win. Coaches like to do that stuff.
So right now, Texas A&M is playing Nebraska. Nebraska has never won a game in the NCAA tournament.
Everybody in the country better be rooting for Nebraska. That's the only Power 5 school, if listeners don't know, Nebraska is the only Power 5 conference school, which obviously Power 5 conference is going to go away after this year. Big East probably wants to be included in that conversation too. Anyway, of the major conferences, Nebraska is the only school to have never in their history won an NCAA tournament game. So I think everybody should be rooting for them, except for Aggies fans.
So I have to see how I'm doing so far. I had UConn. That's a win. Unfortunately, I thought I picked Northwestern, but I think I was going to pick Northwestern, and then at the last minute I changed my mind and I went with FAU.
That's what they all say.
And so that's a loss. I had San Diego State. That's a win. I had Auburn. That's a loss. So I'm 2-2 in those games. I hate how they do this because I don't know which games are today and which games were yesterday.
While you're looking that up, the Cornhuskers all-time are 0-7. So 86, 91, 92, 93, 94, 98, 2014, and now 2024 are this is the 8th appearance for Nebraska in the NCAA tournament, have yet to win a game, 0-7.
I had Colorado and I had Marquette, so that's 4-2 for today. So, I may hold on to have a pretty decent day. Was this Texas? That was yesterday. All right. We'll figure it all out there. But yeah, I've lost a couple of games today already.
You and everybody else.
But what did you do on the first day? That is our question of the day. First day of the tournament, and we'll probably do it again tomorrow. What was your record on the first day? Head on over right now to our Twitter page at Wildcats1290 and let us know. Did you win 16 games? Did you have a perfect bracket for the day one? Did you have 15 wins? Did you have 14 wins? Did you have 13 or lower? Right now, 100% of the people saying they had 13 wins or lower than that. And that's where I came in. I was 13-3 on the first day of the NCAA tournament, trending to maybe lose a few more games on day number 2. But head on over right now at Wildcats1290. You can vote in our poll. And one of the other things I used to do was because every day there's a certain amount of games. So there's 16 games on the first day, 16 games on the second day. So whoever won the most games for that day would get bonus points as well.
Yeah.
In my pool. So if you went 14-2 and that was the most, you'd get 5. And it wasn't I didn't go crazy with the bonus points. It was 5 points. You get an extra 5 points in some of these extra deals that I would hand out in my old NCAA tournament pool. If I could ever find a program that would do the numbers for me, I would start it again. I would start up my pool, and maybe if I can find a program, I'm going to work on that.
Well, you got 11 and a half months to put that together.
11 and a half months. I'm going to work on that. And if we can find a program to do the numbers, I can just put in everything and it jives it. Then I might do a poll next year, and we can have people that'll, we'll set it up on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com, and anyone that wants to enter can enter for a prize.
For this year, I also just put myself and Paige's brackets on the ESPN. We have the Hulu Disney ESPN Plus package or whatever, so it's just super easy. Looking now, you know how famously nobody's ever filled out a perfect bracket?
Yes.
It's more or less statistically impossible. 22,100,000 people this year put a bracket together.
Right.
We are 1/4 of the way through day 2.
Yes.
You want to take a guess how many perfect brackets remain? 22,100,000 people entered.
22 million, I would say 50.
10.
Wow.
As of this moment, there are 10 perfect brackets remaining.
And this was on what service?
ESPN.
Oh, this is on the
22.1 million, I'll just say, people entered this year. And there are currently 10 brackets remaining that are perfect.
That's where I filled out mine, was on ESPN. I was looking at I don't know if you're on the one where you can kind of, they have the celebrities, you can find out
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And that I just kind of scrolled down and there was like one person I think that had chosen Oakland that I saw to win yesterday. So there was that. All right, you heard the highlight by Kylan Boswell. Let's hear from Kylan Boswell, who was the Wildcats' primary scorer in the game yesterday, a career-high 20 points, 8 of 19 from the floor, 4 of 19 from 3. Didn't get to the line at all, but again, Kylan generally does not get to the line. That'll be something I'd like to see him add to his game as he gets older. But he did dish out 18 assists to just 1 turnover. Again, that was the big stat of the day. The 3 guards combined for 18 assists. Caleb Love, Pelo Larson, and Kylan Boswell to just 2 turnovers. Kylan after the game on Thursday.
On the opposite end, for sure. I feel like us, not taking one task at a time, not overlooking any opponent, was kind of our main focus. And, I feel like we executed that well. A really good team, Long Beach is. But, I feel like we took care of our game plan, executed what we needed to do on the offensive end and defensive end, and, took care of business.
What was the difference between the first half and the second half?
I'd probably say our energy and effort for sure. I think we had more focus on the defensive end in the second half to get more stops. That's a major part of our identity as a team, and Arizona basketball's culture. Trying to get stops.
When you hit your first 3, how did you feel? Did you feel uplifting, confidence-wise?
Yeah, definitely. You see the first one go in, getting a little more confidence. I've been putting a lot more work in the gym this past 2 weeks. So when I went in, just another rep that went in.
How about your dunk?
That was big time, I can't lie.
That's your first of the year?
Yeah, it was my first one here, yeah.
You were going to pass it up to
Nope.
You weren't?
No, I looked at Caleb. No, he looked at me. I was dunking that one. he has enough dunks.
He says he owes you a pair of Kobe's now?
Yeah, he does now. It was big time for me, sure.
He rated it wasn't good.
No, he was calling for it, but I need them Kobe's.
Wait, so if you were to grade that dunk?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was like a 4, like a 5. Something it was gross and ugly, but a dunk is a dunk. I don't care.
As far as your overall performance, though, obviously you felt something out
No,
there.
but definitely a lot of outside noise lately. Just try to cancel that, make sure my mentality is good. And all my teammates, we had a talk before we left to come down here. They want me to shoot the ball more. They have a lot of confidence in me, and I have to put more confidence in myself. And open shot for me and this team helps us. We can rebound too, one of the great rebounding teams in the nation. I got to do that. So that was kind of my main focus.
How much of a relief is this whole thing? You win, unlike last year, just like a weight off your shoulders?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're a really good team too, especially if they stick with us in the first half. Now you can relax a little bit, watch the film, then get ready for either Nevada or Dayton coming up.
Kylan Boswell, his teammates want him to shoot the ball more. Well, he shot it 19 times. And what did you say, J-Dub, that was the second most shots he had
No,
this
that's
season?
the most he took all season.
Oh, that's
the most. No, I think he tied. I think the double overtime game against Florida Atlantic, he also took 19 shots. Beyond that, DK, it was, I think, 14 was the high. So it's an outlier game for him to take 19 shots in a regulation game. Obviously, a couple overtimes, you might expect a few extra shots attempts. But, yeah, I think the idea of that zone, the 2 different types of zones that they played, really sagging it in. They did not want Oumar Ballo to be the one to they don't want to go home, Long Beach State, having Oumar Ballo with 30 and 20. So they were going to do everything they could to prevent that from happening, which led to those 35 three-point attempts. I mean, way, way, way more than we're used to seeing for the Cats. But my favorite thing about that shot chart was in previous weeks when they saw zone, they didn't take a lot of corner threes. And against that 2-3, especially once you move the zone, corner 3 is one that's going to be open. It's a shorter distance as well. They took 9 corner threes from when I looked at the last shot chart against Long Beach State. So really good to see them utilizing the whole court. You remember they hit, in fact, the first 4 shots they took in that game, remember? They were all 3, not took.
Yeah.
The first 4 shots they made versus Long Beach State on Thursday, all 4 of them were threes, all 4 of them from the corner. So that's definitely something that you can see that they're making a concerted effort. But, yeah, Kylan Boswell, to me, has the best form on the team. He clearly won't be 19 for a couple more weeks. Everybody knows how young he is. His confidence is the most important thing to this team's success. So anybody out there who's trying to knock Kylan off, some kind of pedestal or whatever, and you're an Arizona fan, maybe take a little time to help build the young man up, because a confident Kylan Boswell playing with this other group of players, the 4 senior leaders, is a very scary proposition for other teams. So love to see him playing confident this time of year.
It is the postseason for not only Arizona men's and women's basketball. It is also the postseason for Pima men's and women's basketball. They are at their respective national tournaments. The ladies are up in Michigan. The fellas are over in Illinois. And shout out to the ladies who won again today as Pima knocked off Southern Arkansas University Tech. The ladies are the 13th seed in the NJCAA Division II National Tournament, and Southern Arizona UT was the 11th seed. So Pima gets the win there, 88-67. So they're going to get one more game on Saturday. That's going to be the 7th place game for the ladies, and so that's a nice win. They had 5 players in double figures today. Led by Riley Wall. And how about Jordan Joe off the bench? She has just been fabulous off the bench down the stretch for Pima College. She had 7 for 7 from the floor, 3 for 3 from 3 in 26 minutes. She had 17 points to match Riley Wall's 17 points. Riley had 17, 9 rebounds, 7 assists in the ball game. Gabby Lopez, 16 points, 15 rebounds. Amelia Gutierrez had 16 points as well. Rory Hoffmeyer, who we talked to last week, 14 points and 7 rebounds. So the ladies get a win there. We'll check in with the men as well, tell you what they are doing as they're playing in their national tournament in Illinois. But first of all, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5, subbing in for cricket is none other than our guy, Hollywood.
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. We have a crash blocking the right lanes on westbound I-10 near Speedway. You'll need to stay left to get around that one. Also a wreck on Oracle and Suffolk, and another wreck over on First Avenue and Fort Lowell. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather tonight, 56 for your overnight low, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Right now, we're holding at 78. And I'm Hollywood with Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Remember, if you listen to the Jim Rome Show, you were listening to 1290.
It's on the up and up, it's all straight, and that's how that is.
Tucson's home of the Jim Rome Show. He's also your home of the NFL. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill.
2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
What's up, folks? Anthony Armstrong here. Bob Papa, along with Super Bowl champion Carl Banks.
Hey, NFL fans. This is Solomon Wilcox, former NFL safety and host of the Believe in Bengals podcast. Catch my show and all 32 Believe NFL podcasts. Listen in to former players give their inside perspective on your favorite team. Search Believe, that's BLEAV, on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast.
It's always football season, wherever you listen.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app. Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Striving to be the best never grows old, and that's especially true right now during O'Reilly Chevrolet's 100th anniversary celebration. Great customer service is what we've hung our cowboy hat on for more than a century. Even today, we have a new inventory arriving with factory incentives available, and there are great deals to be had. Check them out at O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or come to our party on the 23rd to Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Southern Arizona and O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids chewables provide fast relief for common stomach issues, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids chewables. Fast relief for little tummies. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We mentioned that Colorado has advanced to actually, Colorado was in the first 4.
Yeah.
So it's actually 5 wins, considering they've now won twice in the tournament. So 5 wins for the Pac-12.
I personally don't count those first 4 as tournament wins,
Neither do
but I'm sure the record books do. On the other side of that spectrum, the SEC is 1-5.
Yeah.
So Mississippi State got Mississippi State. Kentucky lost to Oakland. South Carolina lost to Oregon. Tennessee beat St. Peter's. Florida just lost to Colorado, and Auburn just lost to Yale. So,
and it's interesting. You meant like you just mentioned the first 4. It's kind of even though Adia Barnes said it's not a play-in, you're in, but I still see it as a play-in to the actual start of the tournament, which really is on Thursday. And I've spoken before as I have baselines for all of the Wildcat athletic programs to where I think they should finish every year. My baseline for Arizona men's basketball is that they should make the Sweet 16. If they don't make the Sweet 16, it's a disappointing season. If they make the Sweet 16, then it's a successful season. That's the type of program Arizona men's basketball is. They should get at least to the Sweet 16 every year. My minimum baseline for the Arizona women's basketball program is they should at least get to the NCAA tournament. So I feel like they actually are in the NCAA tournament now with the win that they had over Auburn. So they've hit the baseline as they've made it into the round of 64 by winning that game. Arizona men obviously must win on Saturday to meet their baseline, which is to get to the Sweet 16, and everything after that is gravy.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Where do you prognosticate a average Kentucky Wildcats basketball season?
Well, I think the Kentucky Wildcats they should never not get to they're a Sweet 16 program.
Or Elite 8. I mean, they have the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 recruiting class every single year under Calipari, correct?
Yeah, but I don't know if I would categorize them as an Elite 8 program. Like, to me, for years, Arizona softball, I'll just kind of give it to you from the Arizona softball perspective of how I've done this. For years, their baseline was World Series. You had to get World Series. Anything less than World Series was a disappointment.
Right.
Then there were the years where it became super regionals, which is essentially Elite Eight. You got to get to the super regionals. So I would say the same thing. It's not. I don't know that I would put Kentucky being in an Elite Eight form like that with that being their baseline, because I don't know if they're that good. They're not getting to the Elite Eight consistently every single year.
Okay. Well, Kentucky has the most wins of any program ever. They have the highest winning percentage of any program ever by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're number one at 76% lifetime. Their lifetime winning percentage is 76. Number two, North Carolina, 73%. So it's the most prestigious college basketball program in the country. I'm not here to pile on John Calipari, but what I am here to point out is that John Calipari is 1-4 in his last 5 NCAA tournaments.
Right.
1-4 with how many NBA All-Stars?
Yeah.
Come through the program. I guess what I'm really saying is it really kind of irks me to hear guys like Calipari take credit for Devin Booker's skill set, for Cat, for guys who go there for 3 months?
Yeah.
As a student athlete, then drop out of classes. They're not taking classes in the spring semester after basketball ends. They're just getting ready for the NBA draft. He's always taken credit for developing those players. That's their whole spiel is come play here. We'll get to the NBA as fast as possible. At some point or another, and I know a lot of the boosters are very unhappy with the recent tournament record, but 1-4 at a school like that with a top 5 recruiting class every single year, DK, at some point, that's not good enough. I mean, getting to the second round or third, Sweet 16, I think should be the goal for every top flight program.
Oh, yeah.
Should be your baseline, obviously, and depending on if you have 4 seniors on the roster, maybe Elite Eight, maybe beyond. Final Four bust, I think, is stupid outside of like that UNLV team that returned everybody from a team that went to the final game, right?
Yeah.
If you have that type of situation, it's different. But we don't live in that world anymore. It's the transfer portal world. It's the world where really good 18, 19-year-olds leave for the NBA before they ever get to become juniors or seniors. There isn't a lot of cohesion. There isn't a lot of returning players and returning groups that can stick together long enough. But when you're talking about a 1-4 record at Kentucky in the NCAA tournament, I did read that he has a $36 million buyout, something like that. So it would be pretty expensive at this point. But I don't think Calipari's style has often been that people don't like his offense because there is none.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ISO stuff. And with a lot of 18-year-olds, I love to see it. I love to see fourth-year seniors, juniors and seniors from small schools beat up on the likes of Kentucky. You have all the 5 stars and whatnot, because it just proves time and time again that teamwork, DK, at this level. We're talking about what it takes to win games, big games. You might have the 9 most talented players on your roster. It doesn't mean you're going to win a game in the NCAA tournament. My favorite part.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, and as you mentioned, they went to the Elite Eight in 19. The 20 season obviously was canceled. They did not make the tournament in 21. First round loss in 22, second round loss in 23, and a first round loss again in 24. So it has been not good the last 4 seasons in the postseason for John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats, the Blue Cats, as I like to refer to them, the Blue Cats.
You know who the top 5 winningest programs in NCAA history are? It's the Blue Bloods, DK. That's why they're called Blue Bloods.
Right.
Here's the number 1 through 5.
North Carolina, Kansas,
most
Duke.
Wins. Yes. Number 1, there's only 4
Kentucky.
teams. There's only 4 teams in history with 2,000 or more wins.
Right.
Only 4. That's Kentucky number 1, North Carolina number 2, Kansas number 3, and Duke is number 4. Number 5 is UCLA. So those 4 teams are head and shoulders above as far as all-time records and having been good for such a long period of time. You can obviously factor in when those schools started playing. Kansas, famously had the inventor of basketball, James Naismith. That was their first coach in 1899. So the number of wins isn't a great way, but we're talking about win percentage here. Those 4 teams have the highest winning percentage of any school. That's why they're the Blue Bloods.
Yes, they are. They are. And if Arizona wants to get into that category, again, like I've said, Sweet 16 is a baseline. But sooner or later, you got to get back to a Final Four. It's been, 23 years? 23 years since the Wildcats last went to the Final Four. I always say this, Georgetown's been to a Final Four since the last time Arizona went to a Final Four, and they're not even really a program anymore.
I think the program over a 10 or 20-year stretch is all basically one regime, one coach, one staff, right? And you can compare all that. But I don't look at it like the team from this year has any relative comparison to a team from 15 years ago. If that makes sense. It's because the players really the players are the ones who determine how far you're going to go. Coaches can only do so much, and it really boils down to how big a moment you make it, how slippery the ball is, how dumb the nets are that you're using, if the shot clock actually works, all that stuff. So, I mean, it's been 22 different teams that have, quote, failed to make a Final Four since that national championship run versus Duke, obviously, everybody remembers well. And I don't, it's not if this group, especially with guys like Caleb and Keshad, who are here for one season, DK, if for some reason they don't make it, to the Elite Eight or Final Four, whatever this year, that's not on their contribution to 23 years is what I'm saying. It's really more long-suffering fans who want to see that. It's not the players. It's the fan base more that encompasses that desire to get back there so much and the pressure you put at the feet of the players. Listen to those guys talk. It's one game at a time, one play at a time, which is the mindset you have to have at this time of the year.
All right, coming up, we're going to let you hear. We had a chance to talk to Keshad Johnson and Caleb Love today. We'll let you hear my questions to them coming up here in a moment. But first, I wanted to update you as well. We were talking about Pima basketball. The Pima men's basketball team wrapped up their play today at their national tournament as the fellas lost to St. Clair County by a score of 80-70. So the Aztecs finished their run at 1-2. They were also playing in the 7th place bracket there. Dylan Baker out of South Point Catholic High School scored 17 points today. So Pima's season comes to an end. I believe 29-6 will be the final record for Brian Peabody's crew. But again, just a tremendous run by Brian Peabody and his guys to get back to the national tournament. 520-848-1290 is the number. If you'd like to get in on our show, you can call us, you can text us, you can head on over right now to our Twitter page and vote in our poll. We want to know how many games you won in your pool on day one. 16 games. How many of those 16 games did you pick correctly? Was it 16? Was it 15? Was it 14? Or was it 13 or lower? Please tell us that. We want to know. Head on over to Twitter right now. All right, had a chance to catch up with Caleb Love and Keshad Johnson, and here is basically what we had for the fellas today.
I think we was just, knowing their tendencies, knowing, personnel, and I think we was doing a lot of that, beating them to the spot. Big O was helping us down low, getting those block shots, and then we was finishing every shot, limiting them to one shot, and finishing with a rebound, and we was off to the break. So I think we was just constantly, helping each other, helping one another on the defensive end.
School record for an NCAA tournament game and made three-pointers today. 13 made threes for the team. What was kind of going right on the perimeter, and how much did it kind of open things up when you guys were missing early layups?
I think that was just giving us those. When in the zone, it was so open, so many gaps, so many spaces to, take and make those open threes, and we got a lot of guys that can, knock down shots, and I think we was all confident in each and every one of us, taking and making those shots, and then if we do miss, we'll, take care of it on the offensive rebound. So I think, just taking care of the ball and finding open players, and that's exactly what we did.
All right, that was Keshad Johnson after the game last night. Arizona knocking off Long Beach State 85-65. We'll hear a little bit later from Keshad and Caleb. They were in today's press conference in Salt Lake City, and I had a chance to ask them a few questions. Again, it is going to be an early day. I mean, an early day tomorrow. I don't know. Like we talked at the top of the show, if you were joining us, and I want to know, because if you own, I was talking about this earlier today. Like most sports bars are not open at 9:45 in the morning. Like if you run a sports bar, are you going to be open for people to come watch the game. Now, I do know that Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers is going to be open. I think they open at 9, so they'll be open tomorrow. But how many other sports bars are going to be open tomorrow for a 9:45 a.m. tip for the Wildcats in the NCAA tournament? I would imagine there were sports bars. We were trying to see if we could get a hold of a couple today to bring them on. But, who's going to be open? If you own a sports bar, are you open? If you work at a sports bar, is your sports bar going to be open on Saturday morning? If I want to go watch the game at 9:45, can I come to your establishment? Let us know. 520-848-1290. I'm offering free publicity right now. If you own or run or work at a sports bar, can fans come and watch the game tomorrow morning?
I have a more important question, and this is directed at the schedulers. What the hell are you thinking? I mean, we had the voice of Dayton, the Dayton Flyers on, Larry Hansgen earlier, and he was quite nice about it, talking about how but you and I were talking pre-show. There's 4 networks, DK. 4 networks are running these games. There's 4 different time zones. There is no reason for Dayton and Arizona to tip off tomorrow so early in Salt Lake City. There is no reason for this game in the West bracket needs to be scheduled at this time of day. There's just no reason.
No. So our coverage will begin at 5:30 a.m. 5:30 a.m. So we'll get off the air at 6. We'll be back 11 and a half hours later for the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. Right now, though, want to make sure we get you home safely on this Friday afternoon, get you to your weekend. Here is none other than Hollywood.
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Just picked up a new crash on Sabino Canyon and Kolb Road. That's Kolb Road and Sabino Canyon for a new crash there. Earlier crash now clearing on 2nd Street and Euclid. That's Euclid and 2nd Street. That crash is clearing. Also, Oracle and Suffolk. That's Suffolk and Oracle. That crash has cleared. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather for tonight. 56 for your overnight low, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Right now, it is 78. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Don't miss out on any pre-game insight.
That's a little bit of what I want to see out of Boswell. Get Keyshawn to set him a back screen or something. Get him on a couple easy layups to kind of get him going a little bit.
Off the glass and good. A pretty shot for Kylan Boswell.
We go on 4 hours before every men's basketball game.
I always tell guys, let the coach take you in and out the game. Don't take yourself out. Stay aggressive. Don't hunt your shots, but if the shots are open, you take them.
DK, Kelvin, and J Dubs on Wildcats Radio 1290.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Let's see, something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Arizona men's basketball taking on Dayton tomorrow, 8:30 network broadcast time. Our coverage begins at 5:30 a.m. with tip-off at 9:45 against Dayton. And then the Arizona women will also play on Saturday. Their game is at 12:30 in Storrs, Connecticut against Syracuse. That coverage will be on Freedom 1400 KTUC, beginning with Derek Palmer at 12:15. We'll hear a little bit more from Derek coming up. He caught up with Jada Williams and Helena Puello, so we will hear that coming up for you in a moment as well. Let's talk to Danny. Danny, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, David. Hey, J Dub.
Hey, Danny.
A lot of good stuff today. A lot of good stuff, David.
Thank you.
I want to tell you, I've been with you all day. We're just finishing the fifth hole.
Oh, boy.
So I thought now I'm free enough. I can take a minute and talk.
Just finishing the fifth hole?
I'll probably get 27 holes in today.
Oh, so you've already played 18.
So, no, I'm on we just finished 5. I'm 1 over.
How are you going to get in 27? Right. Are you going to get in 27 holes in an hour before the sun goes down? Or 19 more holes?
It's actually going to be about 6:34 when it sets.
Okay.
All right.
Danny's got racing. A supercharged golf cart.
You're racing.
That's wide open. We hit and we play. Love it. We play at Dorado.
Okay.
My
Dorado. You're playing
Dorado.
Dorado. Oh yeah, you can play 27 at Dorado in 2 hours.
Well, yeah, it's a shorter track, but see, my best friend, a forever trial defense attorney, he's 76, and he's one of those guys that you play with that he hits at 160 right down the middle, then 120, and then he chips up and makes the putt for par.
That's my wife's favorite course.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted a couple things. One, I was thinking exactly one of the last things J-Dub said. What the hell are we doing being put to play such an early game?
I don't know.
You know? I mean, look at it. It's you want to call it favoritism? Okay. But it's just, I remember one year, J-Dub, David, you weren't here yet. You were with the Cleveland Browns. You know, remember we were playing like a 15 seed, J-Dub, in the very first round, and we lost at like 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the end of the day for me.
Was that Santa Clara?
No. I remember Santa Clara. I think I might have broken a beer glass.
Oh, boy.
Maybe.
You know how dumb the schedule is tomorrow, guys? The first game is scheduled at 9:45 a.m. That's between Dayton and Arizona. Do you know what the second game?
The next game's not until 3:15.
No, but you know what the second game scheduled tomorrow is?
Oh, is the other game?
It's Gonzaga versus Kansas in the same building. Those are the first and second scheduled games tomorrow. You telling me that you couldn't find a better place to slot Arizona and Dayton in than 9:45 a.m. in Mountain daylight time in Salt Lake City.
Well, hey, now this is for all you people that wanted East Coast exposure. You're getting it now.
No, that's not how that works.
Isn't there an 11-14 matchup somewhere tomorrow?
East Coast exposure is when you play at 3 p.m. here, and that's prime time there. That would be. This is this again. There's no reason why you should have a West Coast game being played as the first game of the day. It just makes no sense.
So just so people know, the 4 sites tomorrow are Charlotte, Pittsburgh, Omaha, and Salt Lake City. So you've got one venue in the East, 2 in the Central Time Zone, and 1 in the Mountain.
Also, Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach?
Yeah, it's at the bottom of tomorrow's schedule. Delta Center, also Omaha, Pittsburgh, Charlotte, South Orange, New Jersey, Cincinnati, and Daytona Beach.
I don't know about those. I don't have those on my list. But anyway, so, you have places in the East you could have played this game.
I just hit a nice tee shot on 6. I paused. I'm listening. How about this? I'm one of the long-term fans who's, waiting for 23 years to get back to a Final Four. Mm-hmm. You remember I told you that, J-Dub knows, David. I was 39 in Minneapolis in 2001.
Wow.
And I know my body doesn't work the same way, but I'm never going to lose the faith. I think that's why March Madness is the greatest sporting event in the world to me, because any team can rise up and any team can struggle. Most of the time, you have good seeds when you get to the Final 8 or Elite 8, Final 4.
Mm.
But somebody's going to lose that's not supposed to win, or that's supposed to win. We just want it to not be us this year, right?
Right.
Every year.
Do we have the talent that we could win the tournament?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right, there's about how many? What do you guys think? 6 teams?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if I'd say that many.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. I'd say maybe 4 that truly I think can win it.
It just depends. If you're talking about the entire season, then there's like 6 teams. But how do you slot Oregon into that conversation? Right? I mean, teams that have had major injuries to key players on their roster most of the season, their record does not reflect who they are today if they're healthy. Colorado falls in that same category as well. So, yeah, as far as the length of the entire season, all 35 games of the regular season go, every year there's only about 5 to 10 teams that seem like they have the talent that put together maybe a season where they have 8 or fewer losses. Those are the teams you really put in that category this time of year. But that's not to say that there aren't teams out there with really, really talented rosters. You just have to put it together at the right time. Look no further than Kemba Walker, right? I mean, that team, I think, lost their 5 games in a row. Same with Long Beach State going into the Big East tournament that year. And then they went on a 12-0 run, won their last 12 games, won the national championship. Everybody at the end said, wow, yeah, that was the best team. But the month before that, nobody was saying that they were good. People were saying they shouldn't even belong in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah.
Hey, let me insert this. And one more thing I just wish J-Dub knew something. Don't you think, David? He just has no information, no knowledge, no stats.
I just have a bunch of computers in front of me.
He knows everything.
He
knows a lot.
So let's talk betting.
Oh, okay.
I made 3 bets yesterday.
I haven't looked at the line yet. What's the line for tomorrow? Do you know it?
Tomorrow, 9.5.
9.5. Okay.
So today I'm 1 for 1. I gave the points with UConn. I gave the points with Clemson, given 12.5. And I took the over in the Florida-Colorado game. It was set at 157.
Oh, wow. That was way over.
So tomorrow, the U of A, I'm not playing any parlay for them. It's just that's a straight-up win, I think.
What did you have?
We're giving 9.5. Great, all day long.
What did you have yesterday? Did you have with the U of A?
I had a win. No, I had a win and a loss yesterday.
Okay.
And it included us giving, what was the number, J-Do?
We had 20. We had 20 on our line.
Yeah, it was 20 when we talked about it in the pregame, and then I saw 20.5 or something like that after.
Yeah, but see, like Wednesday, Thursday, it was 18.5.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
People bet that number up.
So it went up.
Yeah, right. And I thought it was a stretch, but I bleed red and blue, so I had to play it. And today today I hit 1 of 2. Now, if I was some expert, I wouldn't be on the golf course right now, would I? I'd be in Vegas. But, man, there's nothing like March Madness. It's so great. And it's about the spills and the upsets, but it's also about which players on which teams are able to put it all together 6 times, right?
Yeah.
I'll be happy with 4 times.
One team that's struggling to put it together anytime is Nebraska. They were up in this game, and looking up right now, I think they're cursed. They're currently down about 14 points with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Right. Well, and Dayton got my attention yesterday. What were they? They were down that number. Weren't they down 14 in the second half in Nevada?
They finished the game on a 24-4 run in the last 7 minutes, and they won by 4 points, 3 points. So,
well, great.
Yeah.
Let's hope they got all that excitement out of them. Right.
I texted Kelvin and DK, and I'm like, there's a really good lesson to be learned from this to anybody who's paying attention, but no lead is safe. So anybody who's playing in this tournament or coaching in this tournament, just point to that win by the Flyers as proof. 24-4 run closing out the game to win by 1 possession.
Well, and I like that too. And when you guys heard me being a little critical, and I hadn't even seen the whole game yet on Thursday, remember? I had to rewatch it. Well, I watched it twice, and it probably took me 4.5 hours to watch it the second time, going back and back. I don't know. I just felt we were a little sloppy, but we had the game in control. Put some other guys out for a couple minutes. If it backfires, get them the hell out. I'm not a coach. I love to learn. You guys know I'm a Lute Olson guy. That's where it started, right, J-Dub?
Oh, yeah.
I grew up in Iowa. He came to Iowa in the 6th grade. I learned about college basketball. He came to Arizona the second year I was here. And I said to everybody, we used to sit right behind the visitors' bench, wherever the hell we wanted. I said, this place is going to be full. Oh, not here. Okay, watch. So I'm on the Tommy train. You guys know that.
Yeah.
I don't like to hear Sean Miller's name. We're not going there.
One thing really quick, Danny. 2 hours to rewatch a game. You can skip the commercials, right? You don't have to sit and watch the commercials a second time.
Right. Yeah, I had to do a lot of rewatching on plays, and so
he's like me.
That's why I'm playing golf.
There you go.
I have a lot of time.
Lots of birdies, Danny. Lots of birdies.
All right, guys. I appreciate you. BTFD. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow if I can fit in the program. All right.
There you go.
You better get up early.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be up. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Danny.
Bear down.
All right. BTFD for sure. BTFD. 520-848-1290. That opens up a line. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Ryan Hansen is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. He is the radio analyst for the Arizona Wildcats radio network. We'll talk to him, get his thoughts on the win, what he saw in the victory over Long Beach State on Thursday, and what awaits the Wildcats on Saturday as they try to advance to the Sweet 16 next week, which will be in Los Angeles. Now, we don't even know. I don't even know if we know whether that's going to be a Thursday, Saturday, or a Friday, Sunday. I mean, it's crazy. That's all. I swear to God, all I've done the last 24 hours is try to figure out what time games start. We're trying to figure out what the women. If the women win tomorrow, they play again on Monday, and we don't know what time that game is yet. So it's like, it's very frustrating not to, especially that, before you would just say, it is what it is. You find out when you find out. But now, I mean, we have to know what time these games are starting because there's mechanisms and things that need to be put together and put in.
It says here 28th and 30th. So that would be Thursday, Saturday.
Okay.
NCAA West Regional, Los Angeles at the Crypto.com Arena.
Well,
incidentally, when I was listing off all those games, the reason I did that is because there's a CBI and NIT games included in that. But that's the scheduling for television. That's what I'm saying. They staggered games all day today, DK,
right,
to not have any overlap, including CBI and NIT games. So the excuse being we want to have as much basketball wall to wall to get as much money from advertising revenue as we possibly can. And therefore, the Arizona Wildcats have to start their game before 10 a.m. in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And that's why. And there's no reason for that outside of, there's 4 networks. And that's on CBS National. So you want to be on that rather than maybe a cable network like True TV or whatever. But I've yet to hear an actual reasoning, a logical reason why Arizona and Dayton are playing tomorrow so early in the Western bracket on the West Coast.
It makes no sense. It does not make any sense. All right, we've got things happening on the Diamond tonight as well. In fact, Arizona softball is on the road at California. Check in there. That game is actually underway, and the Wildcats are leading the Golden Bears in the top of the fifth by a score of 8-5. The Fellows are also on the road this weekend. They are at Oregon. That game will get going a little bit later. We've also got beach volleyball. I believe this particular event is happening here in Tucson this weekend. Arizona earlier today knocked off Santa Clara 4-1, and the Wildcats also had a shutout win over Utah, winning by a score of 5-0. So shout out to the Beach Cats for getting a pair of wins today. Baseball and tap, softball trying to close out the Golden Bears in Berkeley.
It's the Arizona Invitational.
Yes.
Bear Down Beach.
Bear Down Beach. Great place to be when the sun is out, let me tell you. All right, it's DK on the Sports Tip. Much more still straight ahead. We will hear from Adia Barnes in the 5 o'clock hour. We will hear from Ryan Hansen in the 5 o'clock hour, as well as we will hear from Keishad Johnson and Caleb Love in the 5 o'clock hour, as well as Jada Williams and Helena Puello with Derek Palmer in Storrs, Connecticut. DK on the Sports Tip, JW Madden's here, and Hollywood is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Earlier crash now clearing on Euclid and 2nd Street. That's 2nd Street and Euclid. That crash now clearing. Heads up for a new wreck over on Sabino Canyon and Kolb Road. That's Kolb and Sabino Canyon for a crash there. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather for tonight, 56 for your overnight low and mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Currently, it is 79. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
Why are people saying "Hew yeah" to Jackson Hewitt? When you switch to Jackson Hewitt, they will beat what you paid last year on tax prep, even if you filed online. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. With Omaha Steaks, the possibilities are endless. Endless flavor and endless value. Every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Simply go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale today. And don't forget to use promo code SIZZLE at checkout to get an extra $30 off your order. Hurry, because this deal won't last long. Kickstart your spring grilling today. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes. And soon, you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can. Wait, it can? Yup, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags. I mean, I could lift them if I wanted. No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
Hello, I'm David Figueroa, co-founder of Melinda's. We make 32 craft pepper sauces that are thicker, hotter, and better. We use fresh, plant-based ingredients that you can see and taste. One try and you'll fall in love with Melinda's. Melinda's also makes spicy ketchups using real sugar and no high-fructose corn syrup. Yuck. Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Champs Kitchen and Bar has grand opening bracket buster specials all month long, including $5 pizzas, $5 burgers, and $5 pitchers, and more. Champs Kitchen and Bar at 7625 North La Cholla Boulevard. Cheers to good times, great food, and even better deals at Champs Kitchen and Bar.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill.
2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Get ready for an unforgettable journey as Tommy Lloyd and the Wildcats go for greatness.
Slams it down with two hands.
Get your brackets ready. The Madness of March happens live on Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Final hour of the program here on a Friday, but of course we've got a lot of stuff coming up for you this weekend. Basketball. Arizona men's basketball, that's going to be tomorrow. Again, early. Get up with us. 5:30 is when our coverage starts. 5:30 in the morning for the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. 9:45 tip-off. That'll be the men. And then the women will be at 12:30 over on KTUC, Freedom 1400, Arizona and Syracuse. And that game will, or that broadcast, I should say, will commence at 12:15 in the afternoon. So basketball on both stations tomorrow, 1290 as well as 1400. 520-848-1290 is the number for you if you'd like to get in on the program. And right now we're going to chat with the radio analyst for the Arizona Wildcats. His name is Ryan Hansen. Our third interview today from Salt Lake City. He joins us. And Ryan, practice day, kind of in between practice day, what was the vibe with the guys as they worked out to shake off the whatever the cobwebs might be from sleeping after a win over Long Beach State to get ready for Dayton.
Hey, David, it's a great day, and the Thursday, Friday of the first round of the NCAA tournament is one of my favorite times of the year, and it gets better when you win on Thursday early and you just get to sit back and watch teams drop. Auburn goes down, Florida goes down. I mean, just, seeing these great teams lose, and hey, we're still here, and you could sense that, David. I was able to go to practice today, talk to the players in the locker room after practice. There's no doubt in my mind that they're looser having won that first game. And say what you will, there's pressure to win in that first round game, even if you won last year. Look at Florida Atlantic. They're done.
Yeah.
They went to the Final Four, and they're done. There's pressure in game one no matter what.
So I want to start with Oumar Ballo because obviously he's been fabulous down the stretch for this team. He is shooting 84%, I think, in the last 6 games, but he's only taking like 4 or 5 shots per ball game. In terms of statistically, do you think that they need to try to get him more shot attempts?
Yeah, I'll start first. The game yesterday was outside shots were predicated because of how the defense was playing. So Long Beach State zoned, packed it in. They pretty much told Arizona, we're not going to let you throw it to Ballo and pick us apart. We're going to surround him with the zone, and we're going to dare you to shoot threes. And fortunate for Arizona, the 3 ball was falling. It started to loosen up the zone. Ballo got more touches. Second half, we saw 3-4 possessions of man-to-man defense, and 2 of them resulted in a Ballo finish. One was the lob dunk. So teams are going to strategically try to take Ballo out of the game for a couple reasons. You just said it, 84%, field goal percent shooter. You can't let him get to the rim. Secondly, you put your team in foul trouble. If he gets it down low, you get into foul trouble. You're going to put Arizona at the line and going to have your bigs sitting on the bench. And with all that said, David, I could not agree with you more. For Arizona's best chance to win tomorrow and beyond, they cannot stray from their DNA, which is an inside-out team. It starts with putting pressure at the rim with Oumar Ballo.
And then I want to switch over to him defensively. We're seeing him go after more blocked shots, which he wasn't really doing early in the season. I remember that was one of the things I pointed out early was I would like to see him maybe try to get more blocks. He was walling up. Guys were kind of scoring over him, but we haven't really seen that down the stretch. I think he's averaging almost 4 blocks in the last 4 games. Why do you think we're seeing a more aggressive Oumar Ballo defensively in that respect?
Great perception there. Great observation, David. When you look at what Oumar Ballo has been in his 3 years at Arizona, rim protector, maybe, not a shot blocker, though. You're absolutely right. He's tough to score on, but not going to reject a lot of shots. And what I'm wondering is clearly the NCAA tournament much more physical. They let things go a little bit more. Did Oumar feel a little more willing and able to go after shot blocks because he knows that you can make a little contact, and if it's a little, you're not going to get called for a foul. But I have absolutely seen Arizona's defense at the rim improve with Oumar Ballo's willingness to now block shots. If he's up there averaging 3 to 4 blocks, like you said, over the last handful of games, that only makes Arizona better. And you listen to the press conference today, I'll say something that I thought Keyshawn Johnson said just perfectly. It gives them an insurance policy as perimeter defenders to know not only do you have rim protection with Ballo, now you have a shot blocker at the rim. That allows the perimeter players to be a little more aggressive and know if they get beat, there's somebody back there that has their proverbial backs.
U of A radio analyst Ryan Hansen is our guest, Arizona and Utah. Okay, Ryan, I guess we've been kind of complaining about this start time. It makes sense to no one. Does it make sense to you that this game is being played at 10:45 local time tomorrow?
The NCAA committee has so many rules, protocols, and processes in place for the NCAA tournament, such as 20 bench chairs. They only give out 30 towels. The towels have to be logoed properly. The Powerade distribution station behind each bench cannot be moved so that it is in the perfect position for camera angles. If you move it 1 foot, there is somebody assigned by the NCAA to move it back. But yet we're going to tip off before noon local time in the most important game for Dayton and Arizona in their school's year this year. It's I'll say it how I want. I'm going to be honest with you, Dave. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous that they would do this, and you have in Omaha, Oregon, and Creighton. Are they in Pittsburgh? They're in one of those two places.
Yeah.
They're tipping off at 9:40 Eastern. Arizona's tipping off almost 12 hours prior in a time zone that's in the western half of the country. The NCAA misses on so many things. You also heard Tommy Lloyd talk about the new basketball, the net yesterday. I mean, there were some oddities with that. But, David, this actually, to me, and I'm a little on my soapbox here, it takes it to another level. Because in my time, and David, you and I go way back. I don't go as far back as your manager days at USC. You're slightly older than me, not by a lot. But, David, this is my 71st NCAA tournament game in person with Arizona tomorrow. Wow. I've been with the team for a long time. In my recollection, in season or postseason, this will be the earliest tip time except for November of 2000 when Arizona tipped off at 9 a.m. Hawaii time in the Maui Invitational against Chaminade. But guess what? You're playing a Division II school at the Maui Invitational in the Lahaina Civic Center. You're just thankful to be there. You don't worry about it, right? You tip off at 9, you move on. Arizona, I think, won by 30. No big deal. This is a big deal. I'm pretty adamant about it if you can't tell.
Yeah, Rhino, I mean, I was going to ask the question about NCAA bylaws relative to brand new nets and brand new balls. I mean, I understand naming rights and they have the contracts to play with certain balls at certain events, but I'm talking to DK earlier. I mean, anybody who's tried to handle a ball or shoot a ball, those brand new balls are so sticky on your palms. Why can't they just scuff them up a bit? Like, where is the bylaw that makes it so they have to have nets with two fast-breaking teams, and you got to wait 2 full seconds? I went and tracked it, Rhino. Caleb Love's dunk at Cal, it took 2.5 seconds from baseline to baseline for that play to happen. If you have nets where the ball actually goes through, how fast can you get with two fast-breaking teams? It just makes no sense to use those nets.
Well, and just as important, J-W, look at the tempo that's going to be maybe one of the keys to the game tomorrow with Dayton. Dayton doesn't want you to change the net. They're hoping that the net that Arizona has in the second half is the same one that I swear they bought from Play It Again Sports, because it is that bad as a used net or something. I don't know. No offense to Play It Again Sports by any means. But, yeah, some of those things that just don't make sense because the NCAA is so locked in, and this tournament is great for so many reasons. But Tommy Lloyd also talked about having a standardized basketball, and if anything, get the basketballs to the teams the week of the tournament. Get it to them. You can ship them out. They know who the teams are. Ship them out on Sunday night. Get them to the destination on Monday. Get 6 basketballs and let the teams practice with them all week. And then donate them to the local high schools where the site is. Salt Lake City high schools all around here would love to have new basketballs. So get as many basketballs as you need, break them in. J-Dub, for crying out loud, thank you for bringing that up too, because that was, we have to have something to complain about, even though Arizona won. Let's complain about the nets, the basketballs, and the tip time. If that's the worst things that happen this weekend, boys, we'll be in good shape.
That's the same thing I said to DK pre-show. I said, hey, these guys obviously went and bought an $8 net from the closest sporting goods store to save $4. Where is the savings on that where you can't get a net that actually functionally allows the ball to go through? Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
We're joined by Ryan Hansen. He is the radio analyst for the Arizona Wildcats radio network. I thought Kylan said something interesting after the game in the locker room. He said that his teammates told him that he needs to shoot the ball more. And as a result of that, we got 19 shots from him yesterday. And Kelvin has always said, man, if you're a shooter, the only way you're going to get out of a slump is if you shoot the ball. And it seems like maybe in that respect, would you like maybe that to be a better shooting percentage? But, seeing the ball go in when you shoot it 19 times probably is going to put him in a better mindset moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt his confidence and where that sits mentally is an important factor for Arizona. When he scores 10 or more this year, Kylan Boswell helps Arizona to a 19-1 record, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist for us to know when Kylan plays well, Arizona is a very difficult out, and that will continue to be true tomorrow. And if Arizona were to advance, his mental state of being more assertive, more purposeful. I don't like the Kylan Boswell that's kind of lukewarm, where he's driving and should I shoot? Should I lob it? I'm going to take a runner off of 1 foot and let N'Faly Dante spike it into the 5th row in the Pac-12 tournament semifinals, right? That Kylan Boswell is not at his best. When he is assertive, and he was absolutely assertive yesterday, we've seen it more than a half a dozen times. That guy can be a very good player. And when your backcourt puts up the numbers that they did, I believe it was 35 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists, and 1 turnover. That was Caleb Love and Kylan Boswell. I might be off by 1 point or something there, but my point is you need guard play. They got it, and you're absolutely right. The teammates appear to have been giving the confidence to Kylan that maybe the coaching staff was unable to really put on Kylan consistently. And there's nothing like having a teammate tell you, shoot away, go for it. That's your shot. You get built up by a teammate, means a lot to you, and we saw the productivity out of Kylan.
Ryan, what's your scout for this game against Dayton? They got a fine Arizona-bred player in Deuce Holmes, and a pretty good 3-point shooter in Kobe Brea.
When I looked at the draw, when the tournament brackets came out, the first thing that stuck out to me, which will be the 2 keys tomorrow, pace of play. Dayton is typically going to play slower. They like playing slower. They use presses to try to slow you down. So can Arizona speed it up? The second piece is 3-point shooting. And if you look at what's hurt Arizona, Oregon State, Stanford, Purdue, lights out 3-point shooters, right? Those games, that's how the game was won. And what the scary part about tomorrow, but it's pretty much no matter who you play, the things that get you during the year are probably going to be the things that get you in the tournament if you don't win the whole thing. You're not going to all of a sudden lose in a way that you haven't lost previously. And so those are 2 things. Has Arizona grown up enough in their defensive abilities to lock up the 3-point line? Is there enough there? And can they play, because let's get real, DK, you've seen it time and again, faster teams have a very difficult time speeding slow teams up. It's much easier to slow the game down, and possessions become more valuable, so the game naturally slows down. So can Arizona win a game that's not at their liking from a tempo standpoint? Those are really the 2 things that concern me the most, in addition to an outstanding mobile big in Deron Holmes. And when you have a guy, Kobe Brea, holy cow, Tommy Lloyd said it. It's a coin flip if he makes it or misses it. That's scary.
Yeah.
Like literally flip a coin and he's going to make every other shot. The point there is, DK, is don't let him get looks. Don't let him get shots. Easier said than done. But if you don't let him shoot it, then his percentage becomes irrelevant.
All right, so what time do you have to set your alarm for?
Am I going to sleep tonight? That's actually the question. Regardless of tip time, my nerves and my excitement for an Arizona tournament game is like every fan out there, right? So, like I said, I've done this now 71 times in person. Jeez. I will probably sleep 71 seconds of real good sleep tonight because of my excitement. I love this time of year. You guys love it. It's truly the best time in Tucson, and I hope it can continue.
All right, well, you can sleep on the flight back, that's for sure. Ryan, have a great call with Brian Jeffries tomorrow.
Thanks, DK. You too, J-Dub. Have a good one, man.
All right, Ryan Hansen. He is the longtime radio analyst for the Arizona Wildcats Radio Network, former manager, ops guy for the program, has been around it for a long, long time. His teams, when he was a manager, went a lot further than my teams when I was a manager. And that's pretty incredible that he's been around 70 NCAA tournament games for the University of Arizona. 71, I believe he said. That's a great number.
This is the 8th ever NCAA tournament basketball game for Nebraska right now going on.
Oh, boy.
DK, just
and
some relative perspective.
I probably should put, exactly. The eighth game all time.
Right, so Rhino's done 71 broadcasts for the Wildcats in the NCAA tournament. This is the 8th all time for the entire program.
And how are they doing? I've got Grambling on against Purdue right now.
Not good.
It's not going to happen. All right. Well, Matt Reynoldsson apparently is going to be really upset over at Channel 4 because he's a Nebraska grad. We'll have to get him on tomorrow maybe and get his thoughts if his team does not pull it out.
58-44 at halftime.
Ugh, yeah, that's not good. Not good. But, hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the NCAA
Just ask the Flyers.
There you go. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes. Hollywood, what's going on out there?
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Still working that crash on Sabino Canyon and Kolb. Heads up there. We have a high-speed injury crash on Roger and Limberlost. We have another wreck with property damage on Valencia and Camino de la Tierra. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather for tonight, 56 for your overnight low, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Right now, it is 78. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Play social games online for free. Head to ChumbaCasino.com now to join the Chumba fun and experience the thrill of the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Rashada will take the snap, play fake, sets up, looking to throw, nowhere to go. Now he'll run it to the near side, being chased and sacked. Back at the 41-yard line, Jacob Manu.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CAR.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. That's right, stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers.
It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Introducing Tanzite Stone Tile Flooring, a game changer in the tile industry. Say goodbye to the trade-off between durability and easy installation with Tanzite's revolutionary indoor-outdoor stone tile. Visit Tanzite.com to see how our tile is installed without concrete or mortar. Instead, our innovative rubber gasket system connects the tiles together. Each tile coming pre-assembled, you simply grab one and place it. No expertise needed. At Tanzite.com, you can see how our foam-back tiles contour to cover any existing floor while insulating against sound and cold. Beautiful and versatile. Tanzite tile adapts to indoor or outdoor use, from kitchens to patios, on concrete basements or wooden decks. All with the durability of stone that's guaranteed for life. Witness this innovative product yourself and order a sample today at tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of the wind in the trees as your RV sits parked in the forest. Is that the call of the majestic owl? And there's the sound of a tree branch crashing into the roof of your RV. Oof, I guess their nest was in that branch. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discount. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Always great to chat with Ryan Hansen, the analyst on Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. You can hear him and Brian Jeffries here in the morning, 9:45 a.m. tip-off, Arizona and Dayton in the second round of the NCAA tournament on Saturday. And it'll be the women also playing. The women are going to be in Storrs, Connecticut. They'll be playing in their first round game after playing in the first four of the tournament and beating Auburn last night by 10 points, 69-59. The Wildcats will now play in the first round against Syracuse, the Orange. Syracuse is the number 6 seed in the tournament. They finished 4th in the ACC. They have 20-plus wins on the season, but it's still a very good matchup for the Arizona Wildcats. And it was last night was a game in which really the Wildcats, and I'd said this before, that Adia Barnes had said a number of times over the course of the last few weeks that she felt that, you know, the lower echelon tournament worthy teams in the Pac-12, 7, 8, and 9, were better than teams 7, 8, and 9 in conferences like the SEC. And that was the matchup. The number 7 team in the SEC in Auburn, the number 7 place team in the Pac-12 in Arizona, and Arizona never trailed in that game and won by 10 points. And so the Wildcats are moving on, and now they'll face Syracuse at 12:30 on Saturday. Again, that game will be on Freedom 1400, KTUC. Big nights last night for Helena Puello and Jada Williams. Derek Palmer, the voice of Arizona women's basketball, had a chance to catch up with those two young ladies earlier today in Storrs.
We have Wildcat freshman Jada Williams and fifth-year player Helena Puello talking to us before their ball game in the first round against Syracuse. And Jada, take us through the emotions that you were experiencing on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, me personally, as a freshman, I didn't really know what to expect. Never been in that situation before, really. So I'm looking up to the big dogs like Helena and just seeing like what's going on. And then to see her so excited is kind of what we've been playing so hard for this year. We know that this is their last year. This is kind of their last run to make in college. So we're just trying to play as hard as we can for them. So it was super cool to see that, and it made me feel good and made me feel prepared. And like we got some experience and some mentors to help us go into this run.
Same question for you, Puello. What was it like for you emotionally?
It was amazing. I mean, I was just really happy just because I knew it was going to be my last March Madness. So I was just really happy about it and just having the opportunity to play for the last time here in this stage. So, and hopefully we can go like 3 years ago to the Final Four.
Was it unexpected for you when you saw the name come up?
Not really. I mean, I knew we were going to make it, but when I saw the name on it, I was just like really, really, really happy. So, and I think we are in a really good position right now, in a really good bracket. So I think we have a lot of chances to deep run. Sorry.
Well, what's mentoring Williams been like for you?
Amazing. I mean, I told her before, like when I was a freshman, I wasn't like her, and then I see her like as a senior now. Like she plays, she knows all the system, like defensively, offensively, everything. So I'm just really happy for her, and I think she's just gonna be the next like real Wildcat for this program. So I'm just really happy for her.
What have you taken away from any of the teachings that she's given you?
Yeah, I think coming in, I already knew she was a really good player, but now like we'll go back and watch film, and like yesterday I back cut just to do it, and like she actually saw me. So I just feel like being able to take over and not force things, being patient, let the game come to you. That's really what I've learned from her. She's a patient player, but she knows when to take over, and she can do that. And so just learning how to be stable on the court, whether it's defense, offense, just being a really well-rounded player. She can guard anybody in the country, so that's kind of what I'm looking up to most right now.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Derek Palmer with Helena Puello and Jada Williams. Something that Helena said there in her first answer, just it brings you back to a story I did for TV a few years ago when she said, this is going to be my last March Madness. And a couple years ago, we got a chance to talk to a lot of in Tommy Lloyd's first season, we got a chance to talk to a lot of the international players in that first year, the Christian Colocos, the Ben Matherns, the Pelle Larsons, and whatnot. And uniformly, they all referred to this as the March Madness. And I thought that was really interesting because as Americans, that's not really we call it March Madness, but we refer to it as the NCAA tournament. And I just thought it was interesting that all of these international kids refer to it as they don't call it the NCAA tournament. They if you ask you where you're going, where are you guys going to play, they're not going to say we're going to the NCAA tournament. They're going to say we're going to the March Madness. I just thought that's really interesting how for people that did not grow up in the United States, that's how they perceive it. That's the phrase that has caught on with them, the March Madness versus the NCAA tournave, which is how we refer to it.
You never heard Helena Puello throw out a big dance reference?
I don't think I have. I've not heard any of them, any of the international kids say the big dance, which is another term that we use for it. But the March Madness, and not only the kind of really cool thing was they don't just say March Madness, they always put the in front.
Right.
The March Madness. I just thought that was really, and so I literally did a TV story about that a couple years ago on how they all referred to it as the March Madness. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. That is what's happening on the women's side. We'll also let you hear coming up in our final segment with the head coach Adia Barnes, who had her press conference earlier today. Now, on the men's side, we got a chance earlier to talk with Keyshawn Johnson and Caleb Love at their press briefing in Salt Lake City. And here was some of what we talked about with them.
Caleb just did 11 rebounds yesterday. What's your mentality when you're able to get to the rim and grab balls off of it like you were able to get in that game on Thursday?
Just to start the break. When just helping Big O, he may have a big task as far as boxing out his own man, or Keyshawn might be battling with his man. And so I just can, help them out and then just lead the break and then get easy, fast break points.
And did you have to tell Kylan to dunk that basketball? Because it looked like he was about ready to leave it for you.
Nah, he had his mind set up as soon as he got that ball. Yeah, he was. But I did give him a little extra. Go ahead and go. I wish he would have got a better dunk.
Yeah, you mentioned Oumar Ballo, and for both of you guys, he's averaging 4 blocks a game over the last 4 games. So what's kind of gotten into him that you guys are seeing him attack the ball more at the defensive end?
He's been a big man in the middle all year. He's helped us so much throughout the year as far as, being a big presence down there on the offensive end and defensive end. I think, he's the best big in the country when he's playing like that, and he helps us a lot. If one of us gets beat, he's helping us vertical contest or he's blocking the shot. And then on defensive end, on the offensive end, he's the big man in the middle, so he draws a lot of attention. So if he's not laying the ball up or dunking it, he's drawing a lot of attention and kicking out for us for easy threes. So I think he's a big part of us winning, and he's going to be a big part of us winning down the stretch.
Keyshawn, are you seeing a growth from him defensively in that respect, being more active to try to knock balls away?
I played against him in Maui last year, so I knew what he was capable of. That's probably one of the reasons why I came here. For all of us, Oumar is he's an insurance policy on the defensive end. Just like if we get blown by, we know somebody got our back, and we got to come and crack down. But You know, he's an all-around force. Defense, rebounding, dunking the ball, just drawing so much attention, as Caleb said. So he just made the game so much easier on us, and we all make the game easier on each other. But he's for sure a great help, great asset to our team.
And Key, you had 10 points in that 16-zip stretch that kind of crossed over halves. What was happening offensively for you that you were kind of able to take control there?
Arizona basketball was happening for me. You know, we were just able to get out, get on a break. Caleb was able to give me a lob, just running the floor. You know, had a couple corner threes, just swinging the ball. That's the game of basketball. You know, everybody gonna get their chance. I wasn't trying to force nothing. Every shot I shot, I felt like it was gonna go in, and those 10 points went in. You know, so the game of basketball is so unpredictable. You just gotta run, and the ball will find you. You just gotta do your job.
Thanks, fellas. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, that was Caleb Love and Keyshawn Johnson earlier today talking about Kylan's dunk, which would have been a little bit better dunk, and the play of Oumar Ballo at both the defense, at least primarily at the defensive end of the floor, and what we've seen. 4 blocks a game. He's got 14. We mentioned this last night. He's got 14 blocks in the last 4 games. That's almost 4 blocks per game. Something that he was not necessarily doing early in the season. And I thought that was a key part of that run, the 15-0 run, when the Wildcats took control of the game, ended the first half, early the second half, is because Oumar was relentless at defending at the rim, at the defensive end of the floor.
We talked quite a bit extensively on pre and post about his burst and explosiveness has changed, DK, in the last month and a half. You know, last year he had the issue midway through the season where it wasn't disclosed for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know what was going on, but it was very evident that he gained a lot more athleticism is not the right word, but more confidence in challenging those shots and finishing at the rim, right? Because there was a stretch there where Arizona struggled as a team. Not that they did great yesterday. Yeah, that was one of the things that they didn't do well is finishing layups. But Ballo in particular was having a stretch there midway through the season where he was struggling getting up and to finish at the rim. But these last, I want to say 10 games, DK, is about as explosive as I've seen Oumar Ballo. Couldn't have come at a better time. He really looks he looks like he's moving his feet very easily, very gracefully, and obviously getting up, what does he weigh, 250, 260, something to that effect, maybe more. It's not easy to get that much weight off the ground, but when you look at some of these blocks, it's recovering and blocking shots like he had one in the Pac-12 tournament where he recovered and blocked it with his offhand on a layup by a guard. Just incredibly impressive agility. And again, you got to give credit to the strength and conditioning staff because clearly there was a stretch there where he wasn't looking super spry, but these days, man, I wouldn't want to go at the rim with Oumar Ballo protecting it.
All right, well, let's hear from Adia Barnes coming up next. It's DK on the Sports Tip, along with JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. Hollywood, what are the roads looking like out there right now?
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We have an injury crash on Hardy and Northern Avenue. Also, traffic hazard, Speedway in Houghton. Heads up for an injury crash on Valencia and Camino de la Tierra, along with a high-speed crash on Roger and Limberlost. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather for tonight, 56 for the overnight low, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 and cloudy. Right now it is 78. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
Why are people saying "Hew yeah" to Jackson Hewitt? When you switch to Jackson Hewitt, they will beat what you paid last year on tax prep, even if you filed online. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
At LL Floyd, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits. LL Flooring, every step covered.
Celebrate the grand opening of Champ's Kitchen and Bar with exclusive $5 specials now through April 8th. Score $5 pizzas, $5 burgers, and $5 pitchers. Catch all the action at Champ's Kitchen and Bar at 7625 North La Jolla Boulevard before it's too late.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer looking for quality car parts in Tucson, look no further. Advance Auto Parts has 6 Tucson locations with over 75 years in business. Advance Auto Parts is the largest car parts retailer in the U.S., and customers know they can trust their products, like Die-Hard batteries. Now with free installation, only found at Advance Auto Parts stores. Take advantage of our same-day delivery and pickup. Just visit our website at stores.advanceautoparts.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Advance Auto Parts for all your car repair needs. Now a proud radio sponsor of the University of Arizona Wildcats.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers.
It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon
Then
spawning?
it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-539-5094. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-539-5094 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-539-5094. 800-539-5094. 800-539-5094.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yup, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Final phase of the program, 520-848-1290 on this Friday, 520-848-1290. Get on out, and then I guess we're into the spring sports now. So we got some outdoor stuff going on, baseball, softball on the high school side. We'll try to maybe find some prep princes and prep princesses to celebrate next week here on the program. Final weekend of spring training. I don't think I'm getting to a game. I was thinking I might try to go up and see my tribe on Sunday, but we've got the street fair going on this weekend here in Tucson, the 55th annual Spring Avenue Street Fair. I think I'm actually going, J-Dub, to a party of somebody that actually lives in that neighborhood there. They generally, one of my wife's friends has has a gathering every time there's a street party. So you can kind of go to the street party and then go over to this friend's house and kind of hang out and whatnot. And so I think
That's
I'm
how
going to
it
do that.
started, right? When I was growing up here in the 70s and 80s and 90s, the street fair was about the community around 4th Avenue and a bunch of artists coming together, putting a table out, and here's some popsicle stick artwork that I made if you want to buy it and keep a roof over my head. And, you know, it's not like that anymore. But that's the spirit of the 4th Avenue Street Fair was always local artists bringing their wares, having a few nice drinks and a turkey leg covered in bacon or whatever. And, yeah, it's always been a great time down there.
Here we go. All right, let's hear from Adia Barnes today. How about that?
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Adia Barnes met the media today in Storrs, Connecticut after her team beat Auburn and in getting ready for their game against Syracuse.
We're joined by Arizona head coach Adia Barnes. We'll let Coach make an opening statement, and then we'll move on to questions. If you're on Zoom, please use the hand raise function, and we can get to you. And if you're in the audience, please wait for the microphone. State your name and affiliation. Coach.
Survive in advance.
Absolutely.
I'm just happy to be here another day. Fortunate. I thought yesterday we fought. It was definitely a physical game against a really good team, but just have to find a way to get wins at this point. So really happy for our team and proud, because this is a really young team and we battled.
Questions on the left.
PJ Brown, Arizona Daily Star. I'm going to start right in here, Adia. So I know you spent all last night and all this morning scouting Syracuse. What makes them so tough? What are you seeing from them?
Well, I think one of the things is obviously when you have a dynamic player, it's really hard. But I think what makes you think and have to be on your toes against Syracuse is all the changing defenses. So playing against a 3-2, a 1-3-1, a 2-3 for a long period of time can wear on you. And you have to think and look for gaps. And they play kind of like a matchup zone, so we're going to have to be smart and hit shots from the outside. But I think there's so many challenges. Every team is different. And one of the positive things I can say about being in the tournament is the Pac-12 prepares you. So in the Pac-12, it's unlike every other conference where we play Friday, Sunday. So we do this all the time with 7 players, with 6, whatever. We do that in the Pac-12, so I think you see success in the tournament because of that. Other people play Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, and we don't. So I think we're used to the turnaround. We're used to having this day in between as a walkthrough, a mental focus versus like a physical practice. So I think we're prepared, but we know they're a really good team. Coach Jack has done a great job with their team, and we know we're going to have to play.
Questions? Alexa on the left.
Alexa Philpott, ESPN.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Just for the emotions of yesterday, I mean, you got your career 150th win, and then
which I didn't even know that going in. I didn't know. I was like, wow, that was that hard for 150 wins. Like I'm looking at Tara like, oh, I don't know if I'd make it to 1,000.
Well, coming off of that, getting a win with this group and having to really grind it out, what was that like for you? You mentioned how proud you are, but really to see your team be able to grind through that and be able to pull it through.
I mean, really special. I think a lot of people, they weren't sure if we were going to be here. We knew we thought we should be here, but just proud. We start 3 freshmen. And freshmen make mistakes, and freshmen are freshmen. They always say the good thing about sophomores, they're not freshmen anymore, but I think that we battle, and I think you can't measure heart. I don't think we're the most talented team, but we fight. We play for 40 minutes or however long it takes. We played a ton of overtime games this year, but very proud to do it with this group. We play 7. They play a lot of minutes. We fight. We never give up. And I think just to go in yesterday, it was a really physical game. And it was funny because we're known to play for pretty physical, but the Pac-12 is not nearly as physical as SEC, and that showed yesterday. But just to go out and with foul trouble still find a way, just proud. And Helena, I think, has really stepped up and led us. She's the only player that's remaining from the Final Four team. So it shows. She has poise and composure, and she's a leader, and she kind of took over at some points in the game. And we're just finding ways to win. Jada didn't play her best game offensively, but what she did was she wasn't hitting shots, so she attacked the rim and got to the free throw line. So this this team is so resilient, so has so much heart, and those are things that aren't measurable. And so just proud of getting this win. It felt good.
We'll go to Pat up front.
Hi, Coach. Pat Eatonrob from the Associated Press. Hey, I know you deleted the tweet, but it's not the first time we've heard about.
What tweet?
The tweet about how far away the
Well, yeah, I wasn't saying, and I honestly, because the NCAA has been amazing here. I have a lot of friends I know on the committee, and the group's been amazing. I just was saying it's a far drive. So it wasn't to be critical, it was just to be factual.
Can you just address some of the distractions, though, of coming here, which is far away from hotels and restaurants and things?
Well,
and
it's
also
far away from Tucson, too.
Yeah, and I was going to mention it's also a little bit different climate than your team is used to, and how they've been dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we don't care. You could have told me we're going to Afghanistan, and I'd have been like, okay, like it didn't matter who we play, where we play. We would have been ready for everything, anything. But to go across the country to 2 time zones, it's not easy. But it's not an excuse. We'll still find a way. And the good thing about freshmen, they don't realize the difference. They just play. But I think that it's hard when you're an hour away. It's cold. For us, it's cold. After you lived in Arizona, you go anywhere and you freeze. I mean, you get like soft. I don't know what it is. And I came from Seattle. Seattle, I was used to the rain and stuff. But anything after being in Arizona, you just get used to. We left, it was like 70, right? It was 70 and sunny. And we came here, it's like 40. So it's just different, but I think that's a great thing. We're on the road. There's some adversity, but if any team can handle adversity, it's Arizona. We've lost half of our scoring this year. We've had people quit. We've had people removed from the team, and we still find a way. So driving an hour is nothing. We get more time to bond. So it's actually a good thing.
Question. We'll go to Alexa on the left.
Coach, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but having so many freshmen on the team, and this is their first experience, so they don't know any better, which I guess you could say is a good thing. In some ways, it's a bad thing. How have you noticed how they've just rode with the waves of what it comes to play in the NCAA tournament, and handling adversity, but also being up for the challenge? Yeah, so I'd say the first thing is that they're prepared for this moment because all year they've been playing and getting minutes and getting experience in a really hard conference. So I think that facing all those great teams every game, and winning teams like really close, losing multiple games by 1 point or in overtime against teams that are way better than us, I think it gave them confidence, and I think they know that we can play with anybody. So I don't think they really knew what to expect, and so they just go out and play. But I did not see anything. I looked in their eyes. I didn't see Jada nervous. I didn't see Brea nervous or Skylar. I think their mentality and their want to win and their hearts and their, we always say that like their fight is there. So those are things you can't measure. And I don't think, if you look at us as far as talent-wise, you'd say we're probably the least talented in the Pac-12. But I mean, I was saying you can't measure heart, you can't measure toughness, and you can't measure mentality. And I think one of the leaders as a freshman is Jada. And Jada is a fierce competitor. She's a leader as a freshman, and we're molding her to have a bigger role in leadership. I think when she first came, she would be like kind of scared to say things, and we give her a voice, we empower her, and she's just grown in that space, and I love it. And to see a freshman doing that, I'm just excited to see like what that's going to look like in the future. But they're our foundation, and this is a really solid foundation. And I think that as a coach, there's challenges. Like if you get these McDonald's All-Americans and they don't play, what's going to happen? They're going to transfer the next year. So the good thing is no one complains about playing time right now, and they all play, and there's opportunities. So I think that when I look at the big picture, this is setting up something special for later, because my teams are the best, and we've been together a while because of our system is complex. And we're better when we can grow together like that Final Four team. We were together 3 years. So I see this group being that, and now we just add some pieces to it. But these freshmen are really fun to coach. And we've lost some games where I've been like, I'll give you an example of how young we are. There was a big game, I think it was against USC, and we had 2 young players. I'm not gonna say their names because they might be embarrassed, but we're at a free throw line. Okay, so usually you'll pinch, or you'll be on one side, or you'll double pinch if there's really 2 people guard one on both sides, right? If they're really good rebounders. Well, I had 2 freshmen double pinch the shooter. And I was like, no, you never double pinch a shooter, because they're shooting, you would never do that. And they were like, oh, we didn't know, but that's just, they're young. I mean, they don't know
certain things or don't know situations, and they're learning. And I'm like, wow, they're learning every day. So that process has been really fun because I'm seeing them improve. I mean, I know PJ, you watch our team, but Skylar is a different player than she was a month ago. So just to watch that process has been really fun.
And that is Adia Barnes, the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
That's interesting. I'm not sure in what world, even if you're a freshman basketball player in college, you would ever double pinch the shooter at a free throw line.
What if Victor Wembanyama is shooting a free throw?
Right?
It'd have to be somebody of that kind of length who could be a threat to rebound their own free throw attempt. Yeah.
My goodness. If you got to teach them that, I mean, what are we teaching them in high school? I don't know. All right. Arizona, Syracuse tomorrow, Freedom 1400. Coverage begins at 12:15. Tip-off at 12:30. Freedom 1400 KTUC. You can hear the game there. That's going to wrap up our coverage for today. Again, we're back at 5:30 in the morning.
Wishful
with the
thinking.
Countdown to Tip-Off show for Arizona and Dayton. For J-Dub, for Hollywood, thanks to all our guests, Larry Hansgen, Ryan Hansen. I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We will talk to you on Saturday morning.
Thank you, DK. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Wrapping up a crash, an injury crash on Hardy and Northern Avenue. Also a traffic hazard on Speedway and Houghton. That's Houghton and Speedway for traffic hazard. And an injury collision now clearing Roger and Limberlost, along with a crash clearing Valencia and Camino de la Tierra. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 weather. 56 for the overnight low tonight, cloudy, 80 and cloudy tomorrow. Right now it is 78. And I'm Hollywood with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light